They can now see us and they can now hear us. Hey everyone! Hope you guys are all doing well. My name is D'Angelo Murillo and welcome to my channel. Tonight we're playing Vampire the Masquerade. This is a cool event. I'm excited to play with the homies. There's a lot of people here that I've always wanted to play VTM with. And got to eat with the majority of these people at Gen Con, so I was super hyped, and I was like, we gotta play more games in the future, and finally it happened before the year ended and all that kind of stuff. So what we're gonna do is go around the room and have everyone introduce themselves. We're gonna start off with Rockets and Pens.
Hey, hi. My name's Fabs. You can find me at Rockets and Pens. I'm a comic book artist, and I do stream TTRPGs, normally at Going Critical. You can find me there on Tuesdays, streaming Itaewon by Night, another VTM Chronicle set in South Korea.
Oh, I love it. It's so good. And then perfect. And then going over to Drac.
Hi, I'm Drac Hydroponics, he, they pronouns. What do I need to do? Follow me on Twitter, Hive, Tumblr. I don't know, I'm probably going to be on Bumble at some point, I don't know. Everything, just follow me on everything at Draconics. That's Drakoniques.
Is that also your handle on Bumble? Just in case people in chat.
I mean, I haven't made Bumble yet, but probably will be. I'm sorry, I'm very out of it, but I'll be in it.
You literally just came from another stream, so you get a pass. You just being here is totally cool.
And I'm gonna be playing. Wait, are we introducing our characters or?
I will do that a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I'm Drac. Hi.
Perfect. And then going over to Stella Luna.
Oh, hello. I'm Stella Luna. Stella Luna TV on all social media. Wait, Stella Luna
Except
on
Hive.
Twitch. Except Hive. I'm Stella Luna on Hive too. Hi everybody, I'm a TTRPG producer and performer. I do all kinds of fun, different TTRPG games and APs. This is my very, very first game of Vampire the Masquerade ever, and I'm really excited. I got a little dressed up, can you tell? Okay.
You got dressed up? Is it?
Yeah, I don't actually look like this all the time. I know.
Don't?
No.
Wow.
This is how you were all Gen Con. It was
Yeah.
I know, yeah. I glided gently across the floor, my feet not touching. I exploded into bats when I was a little too socially awkward. It happened.
That was weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an ADHD thing,
Yeah. Someone perceives me, I'm like, oh shit, bats.
Missed. Yeah. There you go. And then perfect. And then Katrina. Oh, muted.
I always auto-mute. I don't know why. Hi, everyone. I'm Katrina. You can refer to me with she and they pronouns. And I am an actor, a writer, a producer, a TTRPG performer, and soon a stunt performer coming up real soon. I'll talk about that at the end of the stream. But hi, I'm so excited to be here. I love Vampire the Masquerade, but I haven't gotten to play it so much. So I'm really excited to play it with all of you super cool people.
Perfect. I'm so glad that you guys are all here. Once again, Vampire the Masquerade is a wonderful game, and it's okay that you guys, don't know all the rules. So if there's anything that you come across that you have a question about, feel free to ask, because we'll be able to either know the answer or find the answer pretty easily. So it should be pretty cool. So to set the scene, it is, Saturday, November 26th of 2022. In Phoenix, Arizona. It is a chill, sort of November night, probably around maybe 10 p.m. or so. And tonight's very special because it's actually an Elysium. An Elysium is a sort of event or a party that's hosted by the Camarilla that allows for different kindred from all walks of life, for the most part, to come and sort of be here and mingle and party with their peers without any fear of being harmed or any powers sort of being used on them or anything like that. At least that's the intention and all that. But sure enough, you guys may want to attend Elysiums or miss them every so often or completely. But tonight's very, very interesting because this is the night that the Anarchs, who just recently got territory in Arizona with the permission of the new prince, Vargas, has decided to have a joining of an Elysium, inviting the Anarchs over, including their Baron, to be able to celebrate their non-aggression pact and their sort of alliance for the most part, as they tackle different issues in Arizona together. And so you know that there's drama to be happen here, and there's a lot of different new people to meet and connections to be made, whether you're super hardcore pro Camarilla or you're in the middle or even will lean over to the Anarchs more. This is a night where you can find different people to engage with that you don't normally do so, and all that. So what we're going to do is we're going to have everyone let us know the physical description of your character. If you want to give clan information, that's totally cool. It is already on like the screen and all that kind of stuff, so the viewers already know. But if you want to give like character information, you absolutely can, including how you're getting to the Elysium, whether you're driving, having a driver take you there, an Uber, taking a bike, whatever you think is most appropriate for your character. And we'll go in opposite order. So, Katrina.
Okay, cool. Yay. So tonight, Nomi, who is my character, is headed to the party in an off-shoulder gown colored in metallic black with gold jewelry, like hoops and a thin necklace with diamonds and deep green heels. So, and naturally, I decided to wear red instead. She has a cloak with fur-trimmed collar, but it is likely to check it at coat check. And she's coming in a really nice Rolls Royce that she doesn't own, but she rented for the event just cause, and she's having someone else drive it for her.
Perfect. And then going over to Stella Luna.
Okay, Raylan is about 5'2", and they have a very diminutive form. They are wearing, unsurprisingly, none clothes. I think they're wearing lipstick. They don't normally wear lipstick. This is as dressed up as they ever will be. They have striking red hair and a pale pallor and these unique red blood eyes. They can't use a phone, so probably not a Lyft or Uber. I suspect that I would leave this situation for Brother Carlos to take care of, as I am always often closely to him in shadow.
Perfect. And then Drac?
Yeah, so I'm playing Izu, he, they pronouns. And he is a 6'6", bordering 6'1", black person with short dreads, very lanky build, not like muscular, not toned, just very, honestly, almost gangly. They seem, most of the time, they have poor posture, but I think right now they're holding themselves pretty straight and proper. They're wearing a tailored black waistcoat, white shirt, and black slim tie, slim fit dress pants, and just extremely shiny and clean shoes, dress shoes. And I think they ride in on a motorbike, honestly. I think they just ride in on a motorbike and they pull off their helmet. Their motorbike helmet is a yellow with a dark red, almost lightning bolt across the front of it, with their and tinted visor with their just jet black motorbike as they climb off it. I don't know motorbikes enough to name a model. Just think about the coolest one.
Neither do
that's
I.
The one. Yeah. That's the one they're riding. Yeah, and they walk in.
Awesome. And then Brother Carlos.
Brother Carlos stands about 5'9". He's again similar pale pallor like Raylene. Has also the similar blood red eyes. Very short curly hair. He has very ethnic features. And he always sports the regular all black priest garb, as he is one. But for tonight, he also wears like kind of like a thick wool coat. he also cannot order an Uber. So he will probably talk to. He'll probably seek out a cab company to take them, as he also cannot drive these modern vehicles as they are dependent with quite digital technology.
Do we start off our day like walking up to like the cab store or whatever?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Okay.
Lasombra keeping the taxi companies alive. It's
Yep.
like, perfect.
Somebody has to.
That's amazing. So, there's another reason that you guys are actually coming to this Elysium this evening. It's because during the reign of the last prince, Prince Imogen, she had asked you guys for a very particular favor to go and acquire some assets for her that were kind of like hard to find. And there was a little bit of trouble that happened, in that endeavor, but ultimately you guys were able to, come out on top and deliver the goods to the prince. However, before you could actually, she could do good on your boon, she ended up passing away through weird circumstances. But nevertheless, the new prince, Prince Vargas, is in power now and is the only one that has the authority to grant this boon. So this, kind of other ulterior motive for attending the Elysium is also to see if this new prince is going to honor the reward that you were, promised by the last one. You'll have to come with full etiquette and full sort of demeanor to, see if she'll play ball, but it's who knows at this point, because some princes can be fickle, other ones can be benevolent. So, yeah. And we're going to say conveniently, as you come to the Van Buren, all arriving at a similar sort of time, you do spot one another, and you also spot that the venue at which the Elysium is taking place, called the Van Buren in downtown Phoenix, is filled to the brim with kindred that are actually waiting in line, as bouncers are sort of like, checking them for any weapons, because it is an Elysium, so no one can do harm to another kindred. So it's only natural. Every so often, someone will, have a firearm or something like that they just simply put away or something like. But sure enough, that process is what's holding up the line a bit, especially since there are both Anarchs and Camarilla here, and tensions might be high enough to the point where someone might do something. So, first and foremost, you guys see one another, and you guys converge. And what would you guys like to do or say at this time?
I think that Raylan would not approach Izu and Nomi. I think they would probably have to come to us. I think we probably stand out quite a bit, and we're a lot easier to spot in this throng of beings.
A priest and a nun just casually hanging out and
Watching the lamppost flicker above us.
Oh, that's
I
true.
want to stealthily, if I can, sneak up behind Raylan.
Sure. So, first roll of the evening. What you're going to go ahead and do is you're always going to look for an attribute that's most relevant. So in this case, it would more than likely be dexterity. And then you're going to look for a skill that's also the most relevant. In this case, I would say it's stealth, obviously. Now, if there's any discipline powers that you want to activate to help you out, you can do so. Otherwise, you can simply just roll the amount of dice that they provide, and each black dot will give you 1d10 for your dice pool. And all of you start off with 1 point of hunger, so you're always going to have a hunger die in your dice pool. So make sure it's red, or if you're using a digital dice roller, the first number that appears we can say is your hunger die, and so on and so forth.
Okay, fleetness. Add the celerity rating to user's dice pool for non-combat dexterity tests. Would
Sure.
this count as that?
Yeah, so let me go ahead and look for that, because I think that might actually be... It is one rouse check. So, with Vampire the Masquerade...
I'm not that desperate for it. I'm not,
Are you sure?
Not
You don't
that
want to
desperate for it. Yeah, I'm sure.
Cool
I'm very sure. Yeah, I'll roll dexterity and stuff.
Okay.
First roll, first roll, first roll.
Oh, and sorry, I forgot to do this in the beginning. Because you all like were super awesome in introducing yourselves, you all get one extra die in your dice pool of a roll of your choosing. So, yeah.
Um, is there a difficulty to this?
There is. We're gonna say actually. Let's. uh, what is your wits, Raylan?
My 3.
3. Okay, so it'll be 3. So we'll say.
I was like,
difficulty is
who's
gonna be 3.
Raylan?
Yeah. Who chose that name? As you're like, yeah.
Oh, 3 successes.
All right. So you are the in Vampire the Masquerade. If you are the initiator or instigator, and you get a equal to result to what their difficulty is, you are the one that succeeds. So in this one, describe as the scene. You have creative control.
I think I get off my motorbike and park it up, hang my helmet off the handle of it. I look around, and I think almost immediately catch sight of Raylan and Carlos, and the so Izu is very attractive. I think of he's not a boy, but very much got the pretty boy face kind of going on.
So like your normal sort of.
Like you.
Yeah, like you.
Okay. And he kind of grins when he sees Raylan, and with incredible grace, like he's bobbing and weaving, slipping between the crowd, not even touching anyone, just gets behind Raylan and kind of leans over by her ear and goes, "Hey, Raylan."
Oh.
You seem
it's
excited to see me.
Hmm. Hello. How does the evening treat you?
Treating me well. How's he treating you?
You look
Still in
nice.
your... I know. Thank you. You are still in your nun garbs.
Yes, and
And you look lovely, as always.
Brother
Brother
Carlos, our friend has arrived.
I see. Izu. Lovely to see you this evening.
Lovely to see you too. You're also in your priest attire. Do you just not wear anything else? I could get beautiful suits and dresses for either of you if that's what you want or in need of.
We appreciate sentiment. Although, as you do know, fashion is quite hard for what we are. No reflection. Oh,
Yes, but some kindred make it a bit more obvious than others as he looks Brother Carlos up and down.
And Nomi, if you want to enter the scene at any moment, you can.
I was just waiting for this to play out a little bit because Nomi is, of course, she has already reserved a VIP section, if that's all right, specifically for our group, and has been schmoozing through the crowd all night. And there's really no telling how long she's been there. She could have been there for like 5 minutes. But Nomi's the type of gal who can immediately start a conversation and immediately end it too. She's very good at being a social butterfly, and she basically carves a path through the party toward her folks. She recognizes them all immediately, especially Izu, who is a routine partner in crime for her. And as the crime duo, they do balance our more priestly natured people. And so she kind of walks up behind them. She doesn't make it so much of a sneak or anything, but her arm kind of drapes over Brother Carlos's shoulder, and she's like, "What are you doing out here among the normal people?"
oh,
Do you say that loud?
Yeah, she does. She says it loud enough for the 4 of them to hear. Like, what are you doing here with
And you have status 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you are pretty well known in this area, so that makes sense. So, yeah, Brother Carlos.
well, see you. We have just arrived, and we were exchanging pleasantries with Izu here. He has
Pleasantries is a word for it.
yes, he has some form of comment for how we express our devotion through fashion.
Well, I'm sure your god or gods would enjoy it if you added a little splash of color every once in a while. Speaking of splashes, I happen to have a bottle back in the VIP area just for all of us to split. Want to go get holy?
Even Jesus drank wine.
Raylan, unlike
Blood
Stella,
wine.
Raylan appears completely unenthused by this and simply looks to Brother Carlos.
And Brother Carlos just like gives the Robert Redford nod of just like,
So one thing is that Izu, Raylan, and Brother Carlos were actually waiting outside, ready to get in line to get into the Elysium. So we can say that Nomi was already inside and like got here first. But if you'd like to, you can always exit the Elysium to stand in line with them, so that they can while they get checked and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and can she just use her status to get them directly to the check-in so they can go?
You can try. So what
Yeah.
you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to go ahead and roll your charisma, and then you can roll your persuasion, or you can roll your status if you feel like your status might be better than your persuasion.
Is there any way I can
see.
help? I have a status 2. I don't know if that's still definitely higher, but would having 2 fairly high status people help at all?
You can try to roll, yeah.
Okay.
So same thing. You can do your charisma or manipulation, depending on how you're approaching the situation,
3.
and then do your persuasion or your status.
Cool. I have the 00 die for this. Is that all right? That's what I.
Yeah, that's completely fine. So
Okay, cool.
how it works in Vampire the Masquerade is a 6 and above is a success. If you have 2 10s in your dice pool, that is a critical success, meaning that you have 4 successes instead of just 2. And then always keep in mind what your hunger die is, and then like let me know what it is. That way I can help out, just in case it activates anything.
Okay, cool. All right, so I've got 3 then, right? Of these die that I should roll. So I have
Yep.
3 charisma. Yeah.
Yeah, 3 charisma, and then you're gonna do your 3 status, so your dice pool will be 6.
Cool. All right, so that's 2 30s.
I got 2
That is
successes.
0.
2 success. Okay.
I've got 1 success.
Okay. So let me just check really quick, and they ended up getting 3 successes. So in this situation, you walk up to the bouncers who are kind of up here, these enforcers, as they're checking everyone for like weapons and arms and all that kind of stuff, and having them walk through metal detectors, and then like going through it. And what is it that you say to this like enforcer or guard?
I'd like to say that Nomi treats everyone like she already knows them, so that she can fake knowing them a lot. And that's how she gets into most parties. Is she acts like she's just supposed to be there anyway.
Yeah.
So she would walk up and go like, "Oh, hello again, darling," and she'd say like, I have a couple more people I'd like to get in with me, and we'd rather not stand outside for too long. Can you help a girl out?"
So you look to them, and they kind of look to you, and they look to Izu, which they already know. And does Raylan and Carlos, do you guys have status at all?
I have status 2.
Status 2? Okay, so they know you, Brother Carlos. They're like, who's this nun you're with? I'm like,
I have a mask where I'm zeroed.
oh well, yeah, that's great. So they look to you guys, and they consider for just a moment, as like he was about to like sort of let it happen and let you guys pass, but then the other enforcer steps in and like, I am so sorry, Miss Nomi, but tonight we're under strict orders to not let anyone through under any circumstances without being checked, because of political tensions and all. As like you do look back and see that there are anarchs in the line who are eyeing the situation and waiting to get pissed if they let you guys in, like cut the line essentially. Now the ball's in your court, so you failed this roll. So you had 1 success, and Izu, you had 2 successes, right?
2. Yeah.
Yeah. So the number to beat is 3. If you'd like to, you can choose to pop a point of willpower. So on your character sheet, you'll see willpower and there's a certain amount of dots and everything. If you choose to pop one, you can re-roll up to 3 dice in your dice pool that are not hunger dice. If you feel it's that important. However, during the session, there may be situations where you will need to use your willpower to resist something or to re-roll a more important roll. So you can pick and choose when you want to, do that. So would you like to? And there's also the option for succeed at all costs, meaning that if you choose to succeed at all costs, you win, but at a price that will come to haunt you later. So it's up to however you like to do this.
I'd say Nomi glances back at the crowd and just kind of lets out a sigh and says, "All right, well, I know you all are doing your jobs, so I guess I'll wait out here with my friends."
So even though vampires don't breathe, they still give a sigh of relief as they go like, "Thank you for your appreciate or your consideration and and your patience and all that kind of stuff." As you guys find yourself in
As
the
we're
line-
like walking away, Raylan says, "Patience is, after all, a virtue."
and you all get into line. As you get into line, you can see that this line is made up of Camarilla and also Anarchs. They keep a fair distance away from one another here, and you guys have been in the scene for quite a while to know who's at least a part of the Camarilla. And right behind you are some rowdy people who are kind of like just chatting it up very loud and kind of talking about different things, but like, is this gonna be even fun? Or like, usually Camarilla are duds and like all kind of just like talking all this kind of stuff. If you'd like to interject, you can. Otherwise, you can wait in silence as you get to the front.
Are they hot?
Let me check. That is 1. They are okay. They are a 4 out of 10.
I love how it's like they are okay.
All right.
They have great personalities.
That a face that a mother would love.
I do nothing.
Okay. Just to confirm, do you guys all just wait in sort of silence, or do you want to talk to each other for a little bit as you wait?
I would like to, like, clearly these are anarchs.
Yes, you even see some tattoos on some of them. Yeah.
Can I maybe check? I don't know, like maybe an insight roll to see, what their temperament is.
Yeah. So that'll be your wits and insight. If there's anything else that you feel would influence this roll, you can choose to swap it or use it. Yeah.
I turn to them. Like I have my pockets in my hand that seem very calm and casual. Just go, yeah, no, I understand the worry of it being boring. Most of the Camarilla is rather dull. Even some of my friends. And I kind of like just jokingly nod backwards behind to a gesture at brother Carlos and sister Raylan. And I just go turn back to them and say, but I assure you, as long as I'm around and my friend Nomi is too, it's going to be fun.
And you got 3 successes? Okay, cool. So really quick for you, Carlos, what you see as you sort of examine them and eye them up and down, like there's 5 of them. 4 of them look normal, sort of lackeys, henchmen sort of thing. But this one in particular, who's talking the most shit sort of thing, seems to be of someone, he carries a swagger of a champion a little bit. You don't recognize him from any sort of thing. You know the Baron's name and what the Baron sort of looks like, but this is not the Baron. This is some anarch, but he carries himself in such a manner that it seems like he's of importance, or at least he believes he's of importance. And the people around him also treat him with a sort of kindness and respect of anytime he says anything, they agree with him. Like, yeah, boss, and sort of thing. So, and then meanwhile, over to Izu, as you kind of like turn to them, sort of casually and say this to them, the leader of this sort of group gives a smile and then nods, and he goes like, right on. I appreciate that not all Camarilla are like, sticks in the mud. And at least I heard that Bad Bunny was going to play tonight, so that's something to look forward to. As he's like, best Toreador around, as they kind of like, kind of all agree and so yeah. And
my name is Izu, by the way. Izu Okoro. What's your name? And I'll reach out a hand to shake theirs. The one that looks the most important, I'll reach out a hand to shake their hand.
Yeah. Then you shake his hand and he goes, "It's good to meet you, Izu. My name is Rodrigo, and you know, I'm a part of some of the camp anarchs that came into this territory sometime soon. So hopefully see more of each other." And like, and as you guys are having this conversation, sort of talking, the line is moving forward to the point where you're getting to the actual metal detectors and security. That's like, you know, and it's like your turn essentially. As you guys probably like, is there anything you'd like to say before you get like, you know, searched?
Yeah. No, I just turn to Rodrigo and just say, "No, we'll see more of each other. You seem to have an energy I think I'd enjoy. Excuse me." And I turn to the bouncer and I was turning, go, "Don't worry." And I reach and just pull out like a pocket knife, like a full-on kitchen knife. Like just put a bunch of different knives of different sizes, one from my pocket,
yeah.
from my. I set them down. All of them are like blades of some sort, and set them down. Okay, you can check me now.
And they do so. And they'll do each one of you. Are any of you hiding things? If so, you'll have to make a check to try to hide it or conceal it. Otherwise, you can, you know, just be like, "Nope, I don't have anything, any weapons."
I will hide a needle, but it'll be like a sewing needle. It won't be anything that'd be like a substantial kind of weapon.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, they do search you. They do end up coming across it, whether it's in your purse or wherever you're concealing it, and they kind of look at it for just a brief moment, and they're like, "Yeah, it's fine," and then they, you know, allow you guys through. As you guys enter this Elysium, you hear the music is blaring and just booming as you see the dance floor is already filled with some kindred that are just trying to decompress from all the stress that's happened in the past few weeks or months. You watch as different people are sort of mingling here and, you know, gathering in serious or you know, conversation and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so in this time, you guys have a few options here. Number one, like after if you guys want to talk to each other, that's totally cool. But after that, you can decide to, like, you know, get to hit the dance floor, you know, mingle with some people, or just sit and observe and take in the sights sort of around you. Whatever you feel your character would want to do the most. And if you team up or split up, that's totally up to you. Yeah.
I think as soon as we walk in, Raylan will stand next to Nomi. They have their hands folded in front of them, and they have a very rigid posture. They don't seem to like move away or out of to the side when people are passing by. Raylan just kind of stops in place and kind of turns towards you. Do you think that our presence here will be good for business? Perhaps we might be able to find another job.
This is the biggest gathering we've had this year so far, I believe. So I think if we make sure to talk to the right people, it certainly can be prosperous.
I think I can speak for the both of us when I say that Brother Carlos and I will defer to your judgment. We, of course, don't know very many people here in Phoenix, but you certainly do.
Yes, absolutely. There are some people that I'd like to talk to tonight, but I want to make sure we have, I'd say, a home base, and that's why I reserved the VIP area. We have a space to come back to whenever we need to check in.
Do you think that we are going to have to keep an eye on that one? I imagine Raylan looks out towards where Izu is, wherever they've gone as soon as we've entered here.
He's like gone into another group of anarchs and just casually, again, hands in their pockets. I think they've kind of either given up or just don't care about the posture anymore. So they're kind of like leaning over, almost as if trying to match everyone's height and just laughing and talking with them.
So you're choosing to mingle?
For now, yeah. I think
Okay.
for this scene, for the comedic effect of Raylan being like, "How about that one?" I think right at this very moment, yes. But he will
Like doing
join
shots
the
with
rest of the
everyone,
group.
like, yeah.
Yes.
And Nomi replies, "Oh, don't worry. I feel like I've developed a third eye just to keep an eye on him."
That is good.
When you work with someone as long as I've worked with Izu, you just kind of have these things happen naturally. But I think he knows what he's doing so far. If he's in trouble, he'll let us know.
He is certainly a master of his craft.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have 2 influence or more, people are definitely like giving you head nods, and they're acknowledging you and giving you proper due respect. Raylan, you get bumped into, and it's like
Yeah.
they're like, move out of the way. I want to talk to Nomi. I'm like,
I think
Yeah.
this is like, oh, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, I think as soon as like people begin to congregate around you, Raylan just silently slips away like a shadow.
there you go. Perfect. Yeah. So, would you guys like to mingle, dance, or sit and observe this situation? The prince has not yet arrived at this moment. However, you do see and the baron has not arrived yet at this time. Yeah.
I think Brother Carlos is gonna try and mingle.
I thought
Emphasis
you were
on
gonna
try.
say dance.
I'm gonna twerk.
I'm gonna throw it back.
Leave room for Jesus.
Perfect. So that's 2 for mingle.
Yeah, I think Nomi is naturally mingling, just kind of catching up with folks and checking in with her many connections.
Perfect.
I'm gonna stand to one side of the room and not talk to anybody.
Sit and observe. Okay.
Great use. Okay, I need to ask before I do this. Are you observing, and are you okay with Izzy trying to get you to dance, Raylan?
Yeah, you can. I don't know how well it's gonna go, but yes, you
Yeah,
can.
I know. I think after talking to these anarchs, he kind of splits up and sees everyone's going in their separate ways, and then sees Raylan just standing there, and he walks up to them and offers his hand and goes, "Do you mind if we dance?"
I do mind. I like to be quite deliberate with my movements. And it seems that elbows are flying around quite liberally here.
So-
Well, yes, but isn't dancing a thing that the Lord loves? If I remember correctly, Psalm 150, verse 4. Praise him with timbrel and dancing, praise him with strings and pipes. I don't think I'm seeing you using timbrels or dances or strings or pipes right now.
Scripture is open to interpretation. I dance in other ways. Izu, not on a dance floor.
If you'd like to, you could do a charisma persuasion against Raylan's composure and will, or sorry, composure and resolve.
Okay. What was that? Persuasion?
Charisma persuasion. Yeah.
I have 5.
Go ahead and roll it. Yeah. So 6 and above is a success. 5 and below is a failure. And then keep in mind what your hunger die is. Yeah.
Yes.
And you need to roll Raylan.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So do I roll 5 dice then?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. One of them's a hunger die. Hiya! I rolled 2 8s, a 4, and a 2, and then my hunger die was a 4.
Okay. So you have 2 successes.
Okay.
And then
I have 5 successes.
Whoa!
So
All of my
Wow.
dice
It's
were
something-
successes. So.
it's something about Izu, but like his swagger, his demeanor, the tone of voice, the eyebrows, whatever, just washes over you.
It's a trick of the light, I think. There's something about the way that the thrum of the dance floor, the lights that are cascading all throughout, the neon, the brilliance, as it kind of washes over your face and over your eyes, there's a glint. And it makes me tilt my head a bit, you know? I suppose it is worthy of trying something new in new places.
Exactly. And I understand you're more of the deliberate movement, so how about you follow my lead, and after a while you'll get the hang of it and you'll be able to follow your own deliberate moves on the dance floor.
I am a very good follower, and very slowly I slip my hand into yours.
And I bow a little bit as I take it and lead you to the dance floor to dance.
the opening band is the ska band, so everyone's
I want to say that despite it being a ska band, that whole interaction is regal. It legitimately was like a regal proposal to dance, takes their hand, everything.
And we're
Leads them
absolutely
to the
gonna
dance floor.
slow dance while there's like ska music
Do
going
it. Yeah.
on.
There are
100%.
Malkavians here that are doing their own thing as well. Old school elders that are just like doing their thing. So you are in good company. Vampires are actually nerds when they dance, so it's like totally fine. Meanwhile, across the room, Nomi and brother Carlos, you guys have chosen to mingle. As you sort of look for an interesting conversation that might, benefit you guys, you do end up finding a group of Nosferatu that are like hanging out with each other. You can definitely tell some of them are Camarilla, other ones are Anarchs. And the thing about Nosferatu are they are a wealth of information. And you can see that they're definitely talking gossip. They're definitely like, trading stories about their different like, stuff and all that kind of stuff. And it might, be the thing that you guys, gravitate sort of towards. Now, last chance before you lock in. Do you choose to head over to this conversation and actually like check it out, or would you rather dance or sit and observe?
I definitely think Nobi wants to go check it out, and she probably knows someone like within the group, and I could totally roll for that if I have to. But I'm sure she sees a familiar face and just kind of like swings that away and brings Carlos with her.
Yeah.
Can I also input, because now you mentioned that, one of my flaws is suspect, and I don't have a good standing with one of the sex, and the sex is Nosferatu. So in case you
Oh.
don't want to bring up Izu, just in case it'll deter you or hinder your goals, I just want to let you know that.
Oh, you're fine.
I think
you guys,
the vibe is Izu is also kind of like an information broker to an extent, and
Yeah.
that's very much a Nosferatu thing. So they're like, what the fuck is this
Stealing our
Bruja doing?
clients, yeah.
Do you stealing our clients? Yeah.
Perfect. So as you guys approach this group of Nosferatu, as they're like just talking shit, spilling all the tea and gossip and all that kind of stuff, you hear, whether you walk into their group like fully or you just stand close enough to be able to hear them, you definitely can hear them talk about like, oh my god, did you hear what happened to Prince Vargas's seer actually? And like, oh, that's right, like Leia, like her sire went missing recently, and it was wild. She just started having like crazy visions, just like every single day, like once an hour, just like very very vivid. And it got to the point where she had to be have a leave of absence essentially from her duties, because the prince could no longer rely on her to give her accurate visions. And they're like, oh, not only that, but she's actually in the bathroom like crying right now, and it's like really sad to see as they kind of all just chat about this sort of situation. So they are here. So by default, we're going to say you're approaching this conversation and hear this. So if you'd like to approach them, ask any questions or anything like that, go to the bathroom, or whatever you feel is most appropriate, you guys can decide to do.
I think I take Nomi's lead here. I am not the most social, but definitely like I'm the blunt instrument of the group. So yeah, whatever they.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet. Yeah, I'd say Nomi definitely has interest in checking out the bathroom, but I think she wants to spend a little bit more time with the Nosferatu and
Sure.
just kind of go like or see that person she recognizes and like tap in and say hello and like and because she overheard a little about what happened to Prince Vargas, I think what she's gonna do is kind of come in and re-ask that question just to get them like saying more and like maybe even catch that one moment where it's like, oh, that's what we were just talking about. So she'll go, oh, did you guys hear about what happened with Prince Vargas' seer? It's so sad.
And go ahead and do your charisma and persuasion or status, whichever you feel is best. Yeah, as the Camarilla at least acknowledge you, and they give you like a sign of respect, as they definitely understand your guys' status.
Okay, so it's charisma or is it two sets of?
Yeah, charisma and persuasion, or it can be status. Yeah.
Perfect. 1 sec. We'll do charisma. Oops. Thank you. Okay. We got 2 on that first roll, and then persuasion. Hold on. Sorry.
You're fine. You're good.
Check myself real quick. Okay, cool. Rhetoric. Ooh, that's good. More. And I've got 2 successes there. So 4 altogether.
4 altogether. Okay, good. So with 4 successes, you mentioned this, and you kind of like glide into this conversation with ease. And Brother Carlos, you watch, her work her magic essentially as they all just begin to like, bend to sort of her will, as go like, yeah, it's wild. She's apparently like here right now. It is so sad. Like, Leia's been such a wonderful person. She's always treated us with kindness and respect, and she was so talented in her like Malkavian arts of like seeing with premonitions, with vivid, sort of like intense accuracy. So it's sad to hear that her sire like up and abandoned her and just went missing. As some other people weigh in and go like, well, that's actually not totally uncommon, because we have a couple other people that have been missing on our side too. Like, people are just seem to go missing right now, and we're not sure why. As they kind of all just chat about this sort of thing.
Yeah, that sounds so dangerous. It must be a little scary to be associated with them right now. But you said she's in the bathroom at the moment?
And they're like, oh yeah, it's sad. She's just crying her eyes out because she's essentially lost her station as like the seer for the prince. So she just doesn't know what to do, right now. She's obviously invited to the Elysium, but you can definitely tell that not many people want to be around her, unfortunately. And yeah.
My goodness. Yeah, so now Nomi's gonna, I'd say she maybe like chats with them for like what doesn't feel like calculated time, but is definitely like a strict and calculated 3 more minutes. And then she kind of like sets her hand on Brother Carlos's shoulder and says, "Oh, I'm a little thirsty. Can we depart to the libations table?"
And around the Elysium, you definitely see that there are servers around that are dressed in certain attire, so you can identify who's like a server here and who's like a part of the event. And they do have blood wine that's available, but you also see that there are various like human servants that willingly give their blood to anyone who wants it. And there are various couches which people can feed on, and also rooms that you could have privacy to feed on them as well. Yeah, and then within eye shot, you immediately see the bathroom as people like are coming and going from it to freshen up and all that kind of stuff. Vampires don't poop, so they don't really have super need for it. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I love that you said that, because as I was getting dressed, like getting ready for stream, I was like, I wonder if vampires use the bathroom.
Not really. Yeah.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Thanks. So I probably like find her in a stall, but she's not really doing anything but crying in there, right?
Do you head over to the stall?
I think she's gonna head to the bathroom. Like, she doesn't know where the stall is, I would say, but she's going to go to where the snacks are and maybe leave Brother Carlos within eye shot of someone there, because she doesn't want to pull him into the bathroom. That would be a little overkill, probably.
It's up to you guys. Vampires are so advanced that they don't even acknowledge gender, really. The bathrooms are just like agender. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
neutral bathrooms.
Yeah. We love it. Yeah, that's what I'd hope for. Well, maybe she just discusses, because my first concern was that it would be too many people, but like, he's a man of the cloth. He knows how to chill people out, right?
Maybe.
With murder.
We'll see. With murder.
With violence.
I think
I can
that
quell your qualms with murder.
Yeah.
Nomi would know that because we've worked together in the past, Raylan definitely has a way of pacifying people. So of the two of us, Raylan does more of the talking, even though Raylan doesn't do as much talking as Nomi does.
Yeah. Definitely. So I think maybe that's on Nomi's mind, but she wants to like get, she's not gonna just. I feel bad for her just like dragging Carlos all over the dance floor now. But she wants to like consult with him maybe for a second before moving forward.
Yeah, I think Brother Carlos would notice this from you, that you're having kind of like whether or not you should go. And Brother Carlos was probably gonna say, It seems that you are concerned with the seer, as am I, with everything that's going on with what they claim to be missing kindred.
Hmm.
You have more of a social grace than I do, and I think you should take care of this. If ever you need my help, I will only signal away.
All right then. Let me try and find Braylon. See if we can take this together.
This is a good idea.
And so Nomi goes in search of Braylon, who we last saw dancing with Izu.
Correct. So we'll get to that scene in just a moment, as we're gonna go ahead and take like a quick 10-minute break, and then and yeah, we'll be back up. So see you guys soon.
Hell yeah.
And they can now hear us. Hey everyone, welcome back. We're going to go ahead and continue our stream of Vampire the Masquerade in this Elysium event, as these kindred have gathered for a night of partying and also asking the prince for their just reward that they are owed from another prince, but seeing if this new prince will honor their what they've done thus far. So heading back over to it, we're going to swap over to Izu and Raylan as you guys are on the dance floor. And we're going to see how well you guys dance. So go ahead really quick and go ahead and do your dexterity and performance check.
Like, am I desperate for this? I think I am. I'm gonna do a rouse check for this, as
If
I
you
would
want to,
like
yeah.
to use. Wait,
Are you going to activate fleetness for it?
yeah, I think so. I think that would
Sure.
apply here. Yeah.
Could I argue that I could use composure here instead? Because we're not trying to like,
Sure.
whoa, 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 whoa. We're being very slow and deliberate with our movements.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
I rolled a 10. Is that good or bad for the rouse check?
10. Oh, yeah. So for a rouse check, it's just a single d10, and 6 and above is a success, 5 and below is a failure. So with this 6 and above, you do not gain any more hunger. So you're good.
Perfect. Okay.
So the ability works for this scene as you have fleetness activated, so you can add your celerity dice to any non-combat roll. If you are in combat, then you can use it for one turn. Yeah.
Okay.
Or, yeah, once per turn.
So sorry, what was the original roll?
It is dexterity or composure and performance.
Performance. Okay. 13.
I rolled 445.
4, 4, 5. Okay. If you want to pop a point of willpower, you can always try to re-roll. Otherwise, you can leave it be.
I'll leave
5
it be.
successes.
All right. 5 successes.
Damn.
Okay, good. So you lead Raylan to the dance floor, and Raylan, there's a situation of like you're trying to let loose, but it's hard because that's not like who you are. So you're caught between two things. It's like half measure sort of thing. Either you full blown like fall into just living your best life and having a great time. in all this. Do you want to describe how you dance or anything else in the scene?
Yeah. I guess first I would like to ask, because I think if initially Raylan leaves room for Jesus, I think very like not like forcefully, but like as the dance goes on, they will like slowly try and pull Raylan closer and closer if they're okay with this, of course. The moment they feel resistance, they will stop. That's just the kind of person Izzy is. But they will try and bring them closer.
Yeah, I think the way that this plays out is there's definitely some hesitation. You see that Raylan is willing and curious and definitely seems to move closer of their own volition as well. However, as the dancing continues, it's just a matter of Raylan can't keep up with you. It's very obvious that Raylan hasn't danced like this in a very, very, very long time. And they begin to stumble. And even with you leading, an errant footstep leads them to elbowing someone out of accident. And at one point, they accidentally step on their own dress and they headbutt you.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
I apologize.
No, no, please don't. I'm still enjoying it.
I am not, unfortunately. I think that we are drawing a lot of attention to ourselves.
Yes, actually, that was the plan. And D'Angelo, I would like to petition a thing,
Sure.
because I think Izu noticed how, obviously, Raylan might not like this, but Izu noticed how most people kind of nodded at Nomi and Izu and Carlos, but kind of like basically just either didn't acknowledge or just didn't show respect to Raylan. And I would like to roll something to kind of like have my status rub off on Raylan. Like they see the status 3 person dancing with the person that originally no one noticed.
Yeah.
And now I would like to see them to be like, oh, they know Izu. They must be a big deal, or at least a deal. It doesn't have to be huge, but like they must be somewhat important.
I would say because of your 5 successes, you'll go ahead and succeed in this endeavor as people are noticing, catching your, they're catching your movements and all that kind of stuff to the point where it kind of like, they're like, who's he dancing with? Like, who is like, who could it be and all that kind of stuff. So Raylan, you're going to gain 1 point of status, for this.
Oh, okay.
As people are kind of like, oh, we all saw her and we all remember her. She's the one that knows, Izu, who we all know, sort of thing.
They're like, Izu's hot. Who's Izu dancing with?
Exactly.
Who is that?
Exactly.
As Raylan notices that there are people looking, Raylan kind of lowers their head, takes a step closer to you, Izu, and says, lowering their breath, I actually prefer to remain unseen, but it seems that your ploy, whatever it must have been, has proven successful.
Well, I'm sure you know this, but Proverbs 13:20. Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, and it's only fair to say that whoever walks or dances with the popular should become popular as well. We might need the extra notoriety. We're trying to get jobs and are part of the deal with this new prince, so some notoriety would be helpful.
So at this time, your dancing is so successful that you gather the attention of someone in particular. As you guys look over to this person who's like, cutting through the dance floor essentially, heading over to you guys, both essentially and all that kind of stuff. But notices like that you guys were the most active, whether it be swing dancing or like whatever was like, going on. And you see this is a beautiful creature. Like it's very, very like she's very, very conventionally attractive, and it's not just her looks, but it's also her demeanor. Like she walks through this dance floor like she owns it without paying any disrespect to anyone else. She's just in her own sort of thing. So if you guys would like to, and she seems to want to seemingly challenge you guys to a sort of dance battle in some regards, and people are noticing this sort of thing. So if you can choose to say like, I'm out, I'm good, I'm gonna leave this to Izu, or you can also roll. That's really cool. So
Raylan looks over at them, and there's a hesitation, just a question hanging in the air.
And if you'd like to, you can do a wits and awareness to gather more information on like who this person might be. You can both do that if you like to, or you can just be like, "Let's do it!" Like,
I'm
I just wanna
definitely
bring it
gonna
on.
roll for it. I
Definitely
love
want
that
to
so
check them
much.
out. You said wits and awareness?
Correct.
What is awareness? Oh, there it is. I have 3. Haha. Okay, so that's 5 dice. I rolled a 5 on my hunger die. A 10. Just 110.
And that's it.
Uh,
So one.
Everything else is
Hunger-
4, 4, 3.
Okay.
2 successes, a 9 on my hunger die. So
Two
I'm
successes.
good.
Okay. So okay, perfect. So you guys rolled. You were not able to understand who they are, but with at least one success, you recognize that she has an Anarch tattoo like on her. So you know she's not from your side. She's from, she's a visitor here essentially. And,
Ugh, she's hot and part of the Anarchs. What?
and
We didn't stand a chance.
So Izu and Raylan, do you want to accept this dance battle challenge, or would you like to pass it on, or whatever you like to do?
Izu is grinning. I think it's very clear that Izu's all in, but he does turn to Raylan to see if they're also interested.
Raylan bows their head. I think this will be all on you.
As you glide into the crowd.
Yeah, just like.
So, all right, go ahead and roll your dexterity and performance, or composure performance, whatever you think is most appropriate.
Yeah. Is my fleetness still activated? Do I need to roll another rouse check?
So when it says a scene, that means essentially like the location. When you I guess your scene would be the dance floor. So as long as you are still on the dance floor, then you still have fleetness activated. The moment you transition away from it, that's when it goes away, unless it says otherwise.
Yeah. So performance, dexterity, right?
Correct. Yep. So they got 4 successes.
That is 5 successes.
Okay, good. So you succeed in this endeavor.
I rolled my hunger die and I get hungrier.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. So
I'm good. Okay.
Yeah. So you only pay the cost once to roll the rouse check, and then if you choose to activate another ability that also has a rouse check cost, then you would roll that. But since you already did it, you're good for the whole scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So in this time, you go ahead and dance to your heart's content, and you're realizing that you might have met your equal for just a moment, but then you pull out a move that just like oohs and ahs everyone in this crowd as there's a crowd gathering around you guys, and as you are clearly
I think it's like a move that is clearly showcases his flexibility, his physical flexibility, and he looks at while he does it, he's making like very purposeful eyes at any of the hot people around, to be like, yeah, I can bend in ways that might be fun. And I always make eyes with my competitor as well when I do that.
Can vampires blush?
Yeah, blush of life. Yeah.
Raylan blushes.
And a ton of other people do as well. So, yeah, as you pull off this killer move, it's enough to set you apart. And even though you guys don't have breath, you huff and puff a little bit, and she acknowledges you as the clear victor, and she welcomes you with sort of open arms and being like, that was amazing. Like, finally someone here is not like a stiff and like all these old sort of dance moves or anything like that. And she goes like, it's good to meet you. My name is Sierra. Who are you?
Oh, I'm Izu Okoro, and I reach out a hand. Just always like, even despite a lot of physical exertion we just did, immediately back to like formalities as they reach a hand out to shake.
And then perfect. And she goes like it's amazing to meet you. I really like your vibe and everything like that. We definitely have to talk sometime soon. As she hands
please.
you she takes out a Sharpie, gets a piece of paper, writes her number on it essentially, and hands it over to you. And she's like, call me. I think we should hang out some more. As another person comes in to the sort of situation and kind of like taps her on the shoulder and goes like, excuse me, Sarah, your sire's here. Like Baron Alvarez has arrived. So like, we have to go and like sort of greet him. And she goes like, oh, of course, it's good to meet you. And then and then she, waves you away.
I won't hold you any longer.
And you know that Baron Alvarez is the essentially the equivalent of the prince for the Anarchs and all that kind of stuff. So She seems to be either second in command or just a child of the Baron, essentially. And you have the phone number to Sierra at this point.
I just kind of fold that up with a smile, and I don't think she would have noticed. I think it's definitely a thing that our party, for lack of a better term, or Cotieri,
Yeah.
know. But whenever he smiles, it never really reaches his eyes. Even when he's like says he's having fun, even now as he's, I guess, won the fancy. I don't know. I'm still entirely. I think even he's not entirely sure where he stands with them.
Yeah.
But got the attention of this possible second in command. They kind of smile as a. This is what people do, right? Smile, okay, and turn around to continue mingling with other folk
And
and
at
keep
this
looking. And I think looking around as well for where the rest of the party is, just to see what they're doing.
and at this time, that's when Nomi and also Carlos arrive to talk with them.
Izu,
Yeah,
impressive moves,
oh, I know.
but I do have to stress caution. You are mingling with the Anarchs, although it is a good time to do that. Might send the wrong message to the wrong people. We are here to get our boon from the prince, and having more of a pointed relationship with the Anarchs might affect that. So do keep that in mind.
I don't know. I feel like holding a whole annual party is quite a pointed connection anyway. I'm just doing what parties are made to do, which is mingle with everyone that is involved. Outside of these doors, we all know well and good that all of our lives are in danger by each other. But indoors, we're
Also,
fine.
BRB super fast. You guys continue though, really quick.
I do agree with you. It's dark times, and we are all in danger. But older kindred might not agree. I am only doing this, telling you this, as concern for you. Not to scold you. If that came across as scolding, then I do apologize.
No, no. It's. And I place my hand on your shoulder. I appreciate it, Brother Carlos. I assure you, though, I'm looking after myself and I won't put myself or any of you in danger with my actions.
I do.
I'm just making connections and honestly keeping folks that would initially be a danger to us as possible allies. Now we have, and I raise the little handkerchief with the number on it, one less person to worry about killing us the moment we step out the doors.
It's true.
They seem to be the second of the Anarchs. Prince, actually. So I think that's a pretty good connection. Let's stuff it into my pocket.
Those connections to the Baron, that's good.
But yes, I'm assuming you weren't here to dance, unless you were. Got much more pep in my step if you want to dance some more.
I would pay money to see that.
No more dancing, please.
Oh, Raylan.
I emerge from the shadows.
Seeing you
Well,
got information?
not yet. Know me?
What we do have is a little bit of a lead on what's going on in Vargas's world. And her voice quiets down, like she's a little reckless, but she wants this information to come through clearly, and she kind of recaps what she heard from the Nosferatu, and says, so that Seer is currently in the bathroom crying her eyes out, and I'd like to go check on her and get a better look at what these disappearances mean.
Interesting. Well, last thing we want to do is overwhelm her, so maybe a select few of us go in to speak with them.
I was thinking myself and Raylan might be the right people to go talk to her now.
No, I absolutely agree.
If you believe consolation might be of some help, I can certainly do so.
You're certainly more compassionate than I am. At least you can act more compassionate. And that's why you're vital to me.
Raylan just looks at you blankly,
You're like, wait a second.
not smiling, not nodding.
Just kind of like pats Raylan on the shoulder, like, my little party.
Perfect. And then, do you guys want to head into the bathroom?
Yeah.
Oh, go for it.
Point of order, just for housekeeping. Once they leave, I will activate Eyes of Oblivion. So it's like if there's ghosts, I can see ghosts,
Mhm.
and if some fuckery with the lights happens, I can still see. So
Okay.
just
perfect.
to put it out there.
You activate Eyes of Oblivion. You can see everything sort of around. Surprisingly, you don't see any Nosferatu that are trying to conceal themselves. And you do see some people who are trying to use certain abilities are getting kind of like, the attention of security that is like, excuse me, sir, you're not supposed to do that, like da da da. As they're like, oh, right, sorry, as it just comes natural to me. So you do so, and you have Eyes of Oblivion activated.
Mhm.
So, go for it. What were you gonna say?
Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, are two questions. First one is, does it cost something to use abilities? And the second question is it frowned upon using our powers here in Elysium?
Correct. So in the Elysium, it's very, very frowned upon, and like essentially banned, but not everyone respects that. But very, very frowned upon to use vampiric abilities, especially on one another. So no one's allowed to dominate each other or like do anything like that. Like even in Izu's case, where they use fleetness to like amplify their sort of abilities, it was frowned upon, but not totally like a bannable sort of offense because it was like, all right, you broke the rules, but it was for fun, so it's like fine, whatever, sort of thing. So yeah, if it's a subtle ability like Eyes of Oblivion, for example, where your eyes flicker for a moment and you can see more, that's or heightened senses or something like that. That's you can do that easily.
Okay, cool. So when we get to the bathroom, whenever that is, I'd like to use one of my abilities.
Sure. You head over to the bathroom and you walk in just as like a person walks out, essentially, who had just touched up their makeup, and immediately you hear the sounds of sorrow, essentially, as you can see that all these stalls are open because no one really needs them. And then in the back, you do see one that is actually closed. And you see the crumpled form of someone on the bathroom floor that's seemingly sobbing, and her name was Leia. If you need a refresher, yeah.
Hmm. I'd like to use my Oblivion ability called the Binding Fetter. I can identify objects and locations important to ghosts by a faint aura.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So you activate that ability. I don't know if it needs a rouse check. It might not.
I'm gonna check right now. It's
Okay.
from Blood Gods, I think.
Yeah, so you activate that ability to find if there's anything that's sort of affecting her in some way, shape, or form, and you do find something. You see you do find an object that's giving off a particular sort of aura. It wasn't what you were looking for, like a fetter, because fetters are specifically for wraiths or ghosts, but it is giving an odd aura, and it seems to be like entangled sort of in her hair of some capacity or some kind. Yeah, and yeah.
Okay. Raylan will gesture to Nomi. Perhaps you should lead, and I can smooth things out. Introduce us.
That sounds right to me. So Nomi is going to approach and just kind of rattle tap on the door and say, "Is everything all right in there, sweetheart?"
So your footsteps made no interruption to her sorrow at all. But the moment that you start to rattle on the door, she immediately stops and she goes like, she goes occupied as she just like sniffles and tries to, yeah.
Nomi kind of smiles and goes, "Oh, I know. But we wanted to check in on you." And she looks around just to like make sure she's not talking crap, and she says, "No one else is in here." but we couldn't help but overhear you. And as a dutiful stranger in a bathroom, I think it's important for me to check in on you. What's his name, dear? Where is he? Can we hurt him?
So you say this and go to roll your charisma and persuasion. Um, if you have something like awe or anything like that that you want to activate, you absolutely can. Otherwise, it'll be charisma and persuasion. Yeah.
Binding fetter, by the way, is free. No rouse check
Perfect.
required.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, let me do this too. I just wanted to check my. Whoops, hold on. Okay. Oops. All right. I've got like 2 hits.
2 successes.
Yeah, 2 successes. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. No worries. And then,
Okay.
yeah, so with 2 successes, you modify your tone in such a way to exude empathy and like understanding and everything like that. And you hear a couple like sort of sniffles as you hear the door sort of unlock, and she like opens it slightly to see who's even like talking to her, and she immediately sees Raylan, and then she sees you Nomi, and recognizes you, and her eyes go wide, and she's like, oh my god, Miss Nomi, I'm so sorry that like you had to see me in this way. And I'm so sorry for interrupting your evening and making it a hindrance. Like, I swear I'll be quiet, as she kind of like wipes her tears away and then like gives you a nod, acknowledging your status in the hierarchy and all that kind of stuff.
No need to be quiet. In fact, I'd love it if you wanted to talk. You seem extremely troubled, and I just want to be able to be present for you if you need someone to listen to you. What's gone on?
Yeah, so she looks at you guys and goes like, well, I mean, like, I'm sure I'm the gossip of the town by now, and everyone knows, my situation. But I used to like, I worked so hard to interpret like visions for the prince and like make myself an asset as my sire would have wanted. And I finally got to that point, and I was doing so well. But then my sire like ended up going missing, and like the moment he went missing, my premonitions started to become erratic and started to, show me things from the past and show me things from like the distant future and all these sort of weird things at the point where they don't even have any like assistance, and things that didn't even happen at all, which like is something that happens with premonitions. They're not always accurate, but still I'm getting like very chaotic visions, and I can't control it anymore. And I've been essentially, barred from my position and replaced with another like seer. And like so now no one wants to associate with me, and I came to this stupid party thinking that maybe it'll be different, but like no one wants to talk to me or hang out with me at all, and I just don't know what to do. And she begins to fall into her sorrow again.
I think Raylan just has this like natural atmosphere around her of being very good at looking sad and compassionate as a person of the cloth. And I think it just kind of makes people naturally like open up and just feel comfortable in that sort of way, especially opening up and knowing that like this person probably has decent intentions.
Mhm.
And so I'm just standing there, I'm like nodding. I'm like, oh yes. Mm-hmm. Oh, so sad. Terrible, really. And I would like to take that moment to look at her hair. What's in her hair?
What's an awareness?
Okay. But I will make a point of that, like, I'm not touching her hair.
Yeah.
Okay, 10, 8, 9, 1, and my hunger is a 7.
Okay, so 4 successes. So with 4 successes, as she's sort of like moving her hair, and her hair is she looks very unhinged. Like she, hasn't slept for days, bags under her eyes, and like looks even more pale than a vampire sort of should. And she just is like kind of trembling a little bit, and her hair is not brushed or combed in any way, shape, or form. She still has a bow in it as an attempt to have some sort of like fashion. But sure enough, as she sort of moves her hair, you see that there's one strand of hair that's like braided in a certain way with using certain like objects and everything. And on this you see some like what appears to be runes, and it's glowing ever so slightly from it. Yeah.
Have I seen anything like this before? Do I know what it is at a glance?
You had 4 successes, so I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah. So you know that there are, blood sorcerers and witches and warlocks that have access to all sorts of weird rituals and everything that can, curse or hex or something like that to their intended target. So you assume that this object is having some sort of impact on her. Now, whether it is positive or negative or neutral, you are unsure. But it is affecting her in some way, shape, or form. Yeah.
Okay. As she begins to kind of wind down, Raylan will say, There, perhaps we should speak of some other things. Maybe get your mind off of it. Your bow, it's quite lovely. I
And
can
she-
tell that it is something that was made with love.
And she's like, "Oh, thank you. It's actually my mother's. I kept it after I was embraced. I know we shouldn't we should detach ourselves, but I couldn't help it, and it brings me comfort as she touches it with comfort. Yeah."
I also keep tokens of comfort, and I produce a rosary, and it's made of black beads. And as I hold it out to show her, I say, This was given to me when I was first embraced. A different life, almost.
And she's like, "Wow, that's amazing." And she was like, "I can't believe you guys want to be even associated with me. It might hurt your reputation. I don't want to do that to you guys. I know tonight's very important." As she kind of sniffles. So to be kind, because you guys are new Vampire the Masquerade players, she has a sort of shunned marker on her, meaning that if you are kind to her and you are seen in social gatherings or try to persuade someone to do something and she's in your proximity, you'll get a negative 1 die in your dice pools and all that kind of stuff. If you choose to have her, associate yourselves with her, if you just end this conversation and move on, it won't have any impact. But yeah, and then she kind of just asks you outright. She's I'm so sorry, but you're the kindest people that I've met in a while, and I never thought that Nomi you would ever talk to me. And she goes would it be okay if I hung out with you guys tonight at all? And just I understand if you don't want to though, because I get it. As she rubs her arm and kind of looks to the ground and looks
Raylan kind of cuts her off and says, Oh, what's this in your hair? A braid?
and she goes a braid, as she kind of fishes for it, touches it, and she goes no, there's no braid, as she doesn't even seem to acknowledge it at all.
I look at Nomi and then look at the braid. Does Nomi see it?
We'll say no. It looks like normal hair.
Yeah, Nobi kind of just tilts her head in confusion at Raylan.
Okay. With this information, do I know what's going on here?
There are various things that can be hidden from the eye and warp the minds of others who might not be so perceptive. However, they can be penetrated using certain abilities. Usually it's sense the unseen or oblivion sight and all kind of stuff. But it seems that you've been able to do this with your ability. Yeah.
Okay. Braylon will just kind of have a meek expression that might be kind of telling because we've worked together and I'm sure you know all about my abilities. And I simply, I must have seen something. Never mind.
Is there any way for Nobi to quietly double check that? She has concealed objects in her awareness. Would that count?
Maybe. You know what? Go ahead and roll it. Let's do wits and awareness,
Okay.
and then concealed objects will give you 1 more die in your dice pool. Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
You're like Hachu as you cut the
Oh.
cut the braid.
Oh no.
It's a 9, an 8, a 5, and a 3. Was I supposed to do 4? Because I had 3 on awareness.
3 in awareness, and then how much did you have for wits?
Hold on. Where's my? Oh, 3 for wits. Okay, let me
6
reroll
dice
this.
total. Yeah.
We'll do around 3. Okay, a 7, a 10, and a 2, and then another round of 3 for wit. 6, a 7, and a 0. So that's 3, I think, right?
6, 7, 0 is a 10. So that would be 3 successes.
Oop.
So with 3 successes, you try your best to like you look to Raylan and see that she clearly sees something, but you sort of don't. And as you sort of strain your eyes, something begins to come slightly in vision. You don't get to see the braid, you don't get to see the runes or anything like that, but there is something like blurry there, almost censored, as if it's like warping your mind a little bit. So it kind of hurts you to look at this thing, and then yeah.
I don't think that Nomi wants to be seen with this person. She is not as nice as she's trying to come off as. But I think maybe what Nomi can do is like arrange a spot for her at the party, like something special maybe that kind of keeps her distracted or will keep her distracted. Like, could we get her a bottle service or?
It's up to you. So you could offer her your VIP lounge that you had reserved and all that kind of stuff, sort of for this event. However, anything that ties you to her, because she's either there
okay.
like without your permission, or she is there with your permission.
True.
Yeah.
Raylan will offer and say, perhaps you can find some shelter in the underground room of the church. Are we allowed on consecrated ground?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only way religion affects you guys if someone has true faith. So if
Gotcha.
they truly
Okay.
believe in it, yeah. Otherwise, you guys are good.
Basically I'll say, like, I have a place that I share with Brother Carlos. If you want to secret yourself away there for now, maybe some privacy.
And her eyes like dim a little bit as she realizes the rejection sort of thing, and she goes, I understand. You know what? Yeah, I feel better. I am so sorry for taking up your time. Like, I shouldn't even be here right now. So, like, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. Like, you guys are amazing. And as you see her stop for a moment and like fight some thoughts essentially, and then and after that she kind of just nods and give a very large wide grin, as that's very forced, and she goes like, I hope you guys have a pleasant night, and she just brushes past you guys and walks out. And yeah, and you've had this situation, and that was really good because I like wrote that in there like they'll never find this, and then I was like, oh shit, they found the braid.
As soon as we're alone, Raylan turns to Nomi and describes what she saw and says, but perhaps we shouldn't intervene quite yet. We don't know what it is, and it could prove to be a problem if it needs to stay where it's supposed to be.
I fully agree. I don't like the way this smells, but I think being patient about it for once might be the right move.
So,
Without a beat, Raylan's like, patience is a virtue.
so at this time outside, Brother Carlos and Izu are kind of like just doing their thing, waiting for this whole thing to like unravel. As you're sort of waiting, you see a couple things. Number one, the Baron has arrived. As his people greet him, with respect and kind of like acknowledge him, and he kind of like is there, greeting everyone. You see a fight break out between some Ventrue and some Lasombra, but it is quickly broken up by security and everything like that. And as your companions exit the bathroom, well, the first thing you see is Leia come out first in a very brisk, walking with purpose, away from sort of everyone, not disregarding the Baron and disregarding everyone else, and just simply like walking past. And then shortly afterwards, your companions come out. As you like lay eyes on one another, and your mouth sort of parts to be able to inform each other of what happened. You hear the sounds of various clapping and cheering as you look over, and you see the prince has arrived. As Prince Vargas and her security detail, arrives in there, and she wears a suit of power that just like exudes control and confidence and everything like that. And the first thing that she does is walk across the room, obviously acknowledging everyone of status and worth, but not so intimately, but simply with nods and all that kind of stuff. And she makes her way to the Baron, and they greet themselves or greet each other with immense respect, and they kind of just give a small like sort of speech, saying that like we want to thank all of you for being here tonight and celebrating our like sort of union and non-aggression pact. We're gonna usher our kindred society into an era of prosperity and security and all that kind of stuff. And like and the Baron also gives his speech that like as long as this alliance stays true, we're gonna be able to do wonderful things, as they all sort of like cheer and sort of all that sort of stuff. And in this time, the Baron goes one way and the Prince goes to another way, which is in a very large chair that resembles sort of a throne, as she just crosses her legs and waits for people to greet her. Now, you guys know in an Elysium, the Prince is available to understand any sort of issue or take a request or whatever the case might be for her people. So you guys know that this is a prime time to be able to ask if you guys are gonna get paid for the gig you did prior. However, before you go there, you can choose to do whatever you'd like to. Yeah.
I think just to set what was happening prior to Nomi and Raylan coming out, I think Izzy has like a drink in his hand, and I think he's been just trying to get Carlos to let loose this entire time, like busting jokes. I think pulling like quotes from the Bible out of nowhere, just being like, you trying to very much doing like I grew up Catholic Christian, and like one of the biggest things is like the devil knows the Bible back to front and knows how to manipulate it to his use. I think Izzy's very much doing that, like picking select parts of the Bible to be like, hey, God's fine if you just drink a little, just let loose, come on, like just do it.
Yeah, like at some point you just hear Carlos just turn to you. It's like, what is it you want?
Listen, okay, you're beautiful, man. But you'd be more beautiful, hear me out, if you just try to have fun.
I am having fun.
This is the face you make when you're having fun?
What's wrong with my face?
He's gonna like just gently pat your cheek. Nothing.
He like, sadly, you see Brother Carlos look at the mirror after you say that, and he just realizes, you see him deflate. He realizes he has no reflection.
One aggravated emotional damage. And at this time, Bad Bunny plays as he takes stage and begins to perform and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, you walk out seeing like Izu's hand on Carlos's cheek for a moment before he pulls away.
I look at Bad Bunny and I'm just annoyed. Masquerade preacher.
Corrupting the youths.
I look at
Corrupting the youths
Carlos
with
and
the
I look
gyrations.
really annoyed.
No, I'm sorry. She's not sorry. Nomi is definitely like dancing and having fun and maybe even like pulling Izu into it and like screaming out like the expletives in the song, like especially loud because she knows that Carlos and Raylan are right there. So like that C word just goes whoa.
So, perfect. And would you guys like to approach the prince, or would you like to do anything else at this time?
I mean, I would first ask, so how did it go with the seer? I saw they left in a hurry.
We didn't get as much information as I was hoping from her. But Raylan seems she may have seen something. Raylan, can you tell him what you saw?
I explain what I saw.
Sure. There was a braid that was unseen by the normal eye that had runes on it that was affecting her in one way or another. Whether it was the reason why she couldn't see her visions accurately or if it was causing some other problem, you were unsure of. But yeah.
But whatever it was, it felt like a mark of some sort. Because I could sense something there, but I couldn't see it.
I turned to Brother Carlos and like, this seems down your alley.
Do you remember what kind of runes were on this braid?
I explained the runes that I saw.
If I can, I'll pull out a pen and paper. Just be like,
Yeah,
do you
right?
think you
Yeah.
can draw it? I don't know.
Go ahead and do an intelligence and occult to try to identify what they might mean.
That's exactly what I was hoping.
Can I use the technology of pens? Does that work?
Yes, pen analog technology we can.
Okay,
Digital
cool.
You're like, oh no,
Is what
it
Oh,
doesn't
fucks me
work.
up.
Pens, my bad. I pulled out an iPad and an Apple Pen. My bad. Sorry.
Oh
There you go.
God!
Wow.
I bite into it and I throw it into the dance floor.
Crushed
Oh, I'll
immediately.
just buy another one.
All right, that's 2 successes.
Okay, so with 2 successes, you kind of like try to, dive into your mind and all the knowledge you have access to, and you can sort of kind of identify some of the images to be sort of hindrance, a sort of a hex of some sort. It seems very advanced because it's one thing to even do a sort of hex to cause a hindrance to someone, but it's a whole other level to conceal it in such a manner that Kindred can't even see it unless they have a specific ability, active. I would say with your Oblivion sight, if you're within her proximity, you would also see this this object that's sort of around, because she's still here. She's just over, like, essentially by the bar drinking, sort of blood wine, and head in hands essentially, and yeah.
Well, I don't think. I think we should prioritize getting the boon that we are owed. If it is, in fact, a detriment to us to be seen with Leia today.
We also don't know where the braid came from, so I don't think we should mess with it quite yet.
Oh, muted.
Yeah, let's
Both question
just...
game, just because I drank, very tired and probably just forgot. This seer, they're the seer of the prince, or were they like hoping to become the seer of the...
They were the seer of the prince. Yeah,
Were.
they gave pretty
Okay.
accurate visions that would help them out. Their visions aren't always accurate. It could change, but yeah,
But within
Of the
normal parameters, within normal error, margin of error,
exactly.
but before this started happening. Okay.
That's actually a good question too. Were they the seer to the previous prince as well, or just to this particular prince, Prince Vargas?
Just this prince. Yeah.
Okay.
While I do agree that maybe not being associated with her would be great, I also could see us helping her, maybe after we get our boon, but making friendly with someone, fixing their problem, maybe getting them reinstated as the seer, essentially the advisor or right-hand person of the prince, could be another boon we could take advantage of.
As you say that, Raylan looks to Nomi and says, "Does Izu always have a habit of adopting wayward kindred?"
Oh, he does love his pets. Yeah.
You'd make a
They,
perfect sire.
Is that what we are? Pets. Look over to Carlos.
Izu is just in their drink. They hear all of this and they just choose not to respond as they drink.
Nobody likes to bother them or bully them just a little bit, just to, remind them of who she is. But again, like, Nomi is down for whatever is most advantageous to the group and her own benefit. And so I'd say that her eyes have now turned maybe toward the prince to see maybe who the new seer is, if they're with him or with her.
Yeah. So you look over and you do see another, a new Malkavian that's kind of taken this spot, which is a prime agent. We'll say his name is Carl. And then, and yeah, and you see him just standing at her side. The security detail's also there. There's a few kindred that are, like, giving their bow and respects to the prince as they simply say, give their greetings, because it's customary for Camarilla members to, pay their respects, their due respects to the prince for, like, thank you for having this event and all that kind of stuff, just as a sign of, like, appreciation. And yeah, the line isn't super long at this point, because a lot of people have sort of gone through it as you guys have been, like, examining the sort of area and deciding sort of what to do. So if you did want to get in line to talk to the prince, it wouldn't be long at all. Yeah.
Quick question for the specifics, unless there isn't specifics, and we can just scoot over it. But
Sure.
what was the job that the previous prince gave us? Because I think I just like gain assets, but was there anything specific? Or
Yeah, we're gonna say it was a situation where the last prince needed you guys to get your hands on we're gonna say like some lupine blood essentially, which is very very powerful if drinking by a kindred and everything. Um, so in order to get that gig accomplished, you needed some extra help, like extra muscle, which is probably where brother Carlos and Raylan came into the picture for this. And there were some complications. It was like a slightly tough gig. Things didn't go quite according to plan, but sure enough, you were able to get the assets and deliver it. But shortly after that, they were assassinated, so you never got your boon. But you were promised by the prince that you were going to get this boon. Yeah.
So are we ready to approach the prince?
Ready as I will ever be.
Perfect.
If it
Don't
means
say
that
no
we'll
matter.
be leaving here soon, then yes.
You want to leave so soon, Raylan?
Yes, I do not like this party.
We need to talk. I'm just very curious to know what you find fun. We need to do something you find fun one day.
No.
Shuffle.
Yes, shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard.
This is amazing.
Raylan shoots daggers with their eyes at Carlos.
You like imagine the gathering and like Friday
How
Night
dare
Magic.
you tell my secret?
I know a lovely place where we can go shuffleboarding. I have a good friend who owns a whole club, country club. They have a shuffleboard section there. Amazing. They actually have professionals train there every so often, so you'd be in good hands on a good court.
1 point of dark secret nerd. So at this time, you guys chatted up, and everything, and make your way to the line to meet the prince. And sure enough, it goes pretty fast as you arrive. And Prince Vargas at this point is standing up as she goes, "Oh, Nomi, it's wonderful to see you." As she greets you in kind, she greets you more formally than other people that she's seen. And she goes like, "Thank you so much for coming to our little event tonight. I hope you're having a wonderful time."
Oh, absolutely. We're having a wonderful time at this lovely event, and I really enjoyed the Bad Bunny show. It's nice to see you as well, dear. Or Your Highness.
And she looks over.
Nobody says the right thing.
Yeah, Your Grace, Your Highness, whatever you want to do. Yeah. So she looks over to Izu and looks over to Brother Carlos and gives you guys, an acknowledgement. She might not remember your name, but she knows you're of importance, and all that. And she goes, "It's wonderful to see you as well," as she kind of gestures to you. And then she looks to Raylan and goes like, "I don't think we've been acquainted," as she offers her hand to shake.
Raylan does the appropriate return of the shake.
That's going to be composure and etiquette.
Oh my god, what? Okay.
Your chronicle tenet is to not embarrass yourself in front of the prince, so you'll see.
I'm gonna when they greet me, I'm gonna just bow my head because I think I also have been through a position where I know I'm meant to know you, but I don't know your name. So I was gonna bow Your Highness, Izzy Okora. It's a pleasure to meet you.
And she was like, "Of course, yeah." And she tries to play it off that she did know your name. She at least knows you're important, yeah. And then
I rolled a 3, an 8, and a 2.
8 and 2. Okay, so do you want to re-roll any, or do you want to keep it?
I want to re-roll it.
Sure.
Nice.
So you're gonna pop a willpower. So I think you have 5 willpower. You said so. You're gonna go to 4, and then
Okay.
you're gonna re-roll 3 non-hunger dice. So one of them has to be your hunger die, and one of them you succeeded. So you're gonna re-roll one of them.
Okay. 9.
Nice. Okay, 2 successes. So you freeze up for just a moment as you're like, "Oh shit, the prince is acknowledging me." And again, a bit of lore. You guys are Lasombra, so you guys weren't really with the Camarilla. Have just recently transitioned over from the Sabbat to the Camarilla, trying to prove you have worth and value to this organization. And now their leader, at least for this Arizona territory, is acknowledging you and looking you in the eyes. And it kind of, makes you shake your boots a little bit. But you keep yourself composed, and you give her your proper greeting, as you curtsy.
If it helps, I have the beautiful thing.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. So, oh, that's easy. So every time you do a social roll, you're gonna add 2 extra or 1 extra dice. Yeah,
Okay. Neat.
yeah. So,
Neat.
as you sort of do that, she greets you and goes like, it's wonderful to see you guys. Like, oh my gosh, I'm glad you guys are having fun. As she lingers for a moment and is the unspoken message of like, is there anything else that, yeah.
Also, by the way, for future preference, because I did say 2 last time, my state is actually 3, so same as Nomi.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. Then, retracting all things so you have the same level of like, respect and all that kind of stuff as Nomi. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think they'll look to Nomi first to see if they will be one speaking up.
Yeah, she'll probably catch that glance from them and then turn back to the prince and glance over at the new seer and say, "Oh, there's been a change in the party like recently. How is that working out for you?"
And she kind of like rolls her eyes a little bit and goes, Carl does his best, like, and you're great, Carl. He's like, thanks. And then he goes like, but it's just not the same as what like Leia, was. So it definitely is a hit, but it's okay because I'm sure Carl will be able to make up for, to close the gap essentially between like her and Leia. Right, Carl? And he's like, right, Your Grace, as he's just very worried about, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Nobody's like totally fixing him with like a look that's just like she's got this giant smile on her face, but it's like a crocodile smile at you right before they open the jaw and like
Yeah.
and she goes, "Well, best of luck to you, Carl." And I think there's more of it in my heart I want to ask, but I can't make it into words. So if anyone else is clever,
And to help out, one of your main missions is to ask if you're going to get paid for
That's
the
true.
gig you performed.
Yeah.
Izzy will step in. I think Nomi and Izzy do this often where they kind of like trade in and out when it comes to social interactions, and with Raylan hopping in when they
The shark
inevitably
and the
cause
crocodile.
trouble.
It was like-
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they kind of like just very casually slip into the conversation, just saying, "Yes, I see there are a lot of people waiting to meet you as well, but we do want to discuss some business real quick if you're okay with that, Your Grace. You see, the prince before you, they spoke to us, Nomi, brother Carlos, and sister Raylan, to do a job. We went through quite an ordeal to acquire lupine blood, and we did it. Not without a few scars and cuts and bruises, but we managed to do it. But unfortunately, that prince, or fortunately, depending on who you ask, honestly, that prince passed before they could fulfill their end of the bargain. And we're hoping, Your Grace, if we could ask you to fulfill where they failed."
And for lore for you guys, the way that Prince Imogen had passed away was through very mysterious circumstances, but the general concept and idea that everyone subscribes to is that Prince Vargas like assassinated the last prince essentially and took her spot and all that kind of stuff, as happens in these like vampiric societies. But she takes a moment to look at you guys and then clicks her tongue and then looks over to her assistant, and she goes, Diana, as Diana immediately like fishes through her iPad and like whatever other things and goes like, it's true, Your Grace, they did perform a favor, they completed it, and they have not yet been paid. As she gives a sort of sigh and pinches the bridge of her nose, and she goes like, I continuously pay for debts that I do not owe, but the last prince owed. But that's neither here nor there because you guys performed your duty for the Camarilla. So I will go ahead and make sure that you are respected and you are owed what you want. So let's go ahead and you are overdue for this clearly because the date that it shows was like months ago. So what is your request or desire, if you have it, and I will do whatever I can to expedite, your reward. Now, for new players of VTM, a boon from the prince is one of the most powerful things you can have access to because it like whatever comes out of your mouth, as long as it's within reason, they will do their best to fulfill. So if you're like, I want a promotion, or like I want my own territory, or I want to make a child, or whatever, it for the most part can be granted. So one by one, we'll go and see. Now, if you want to hold on to it and be like, I will, spend it when, I have an idea of what it wants to be. That's totally okay. So we'll go with Carlos.
Brother Carlos is probably going to hold on to his.
Okay.
He wants the. I think it's enough for him, the verbal contract of having a boon.
Perfect. And then Raylan?
Raylan will also hold theirs.
Perfect. And then Nomi.
Nomi wants territory for the coterie. So I think that's what she'll go through. She'll go for it.
Perfect. So you ask for territory, and she goes like, I'll have to see what areas are available, but I can absolutely make that happen. That you guys should feel, comfortable in. And Izu.
Oh, I'm trying to decide.
And the other thing, to make it even more complicated, Phoenix by Night is a living universe. So whatever you do or decide in this sort of game will echo throughout the other games. So if you because you said territory, then you on the record have territory like in Tempe, Arizona, essentially for this like specific neighborhood and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, if anyone goes into your neighborhood, they need to interact with your characters in order to get permission to hunt or do whatever, sort of things. If you kill certain people or save certain people, then it's also echoed. So,
love that.
Yep.
What?
If you want a little more time to think, I think Raylan will actually ask for a bookstore.
Sure. And she goes, granted. Do you want to be a franchise owner and own Barnes Noble, or do you want to own a mom and pop shop?
Oh, hold on. Does that mean a mom and pa are gonna lose their shop? It's okay. I'm a vampire.
Does it really
I don't
matter?
give a shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere quiet. Somewhere. A quiet street. So yeah, definitely a mom and pop shop.
Sure, that works. And then, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question. This is above game. Obviously, Izzy won't ask this if it's known that it's not possible. But I think Izzy wants to be higher up in the hierarchy.
Yeah, so there's different ways. You can be a hound, which means that you're one of the main people that she goes to if she needs something, so you're the first in line to be like, hey, I need this done, I'll go to you first. Meaning that you get more status, power, respect and all that kind of stuff. Or we could just make it abstract where you just like are more important to her. Yeah.
I like the hound. So I think he goes, well, though it was difficult serving the previous prince, I would love to be able to serve you as my boon, as a hound.
And she goes, consider it done. I've heard many good things about like how you operate. And she also looks into Nomi and then looks at Brother Carlos and Raylan and goes like, your coterie is making quite a name for themselves as like people who can get stuff done. So, absolutely I'll keep you in mind. And she goes, if there isn't anything else, there are a couple people that I have to talk to, but it was one. Go for it.
Oh, before everything, I wanted to like retroactively do an insight check when she mentioned something about Leia. Like, what was she really feeling about losing her best seer?
Yeah, go ahead and do your wits and insight.
Okay. Oh, that is 5 successes.
Nice, perfect. So with 5 successes, you scan her and look her up and down to take every single micro expression that you can, from the twitch of an eyebrow to like the way she postures her hands and everything like that. And you gather this information to see that she's very upset by this. Like it's a huge blow. Now you know that the Arizona territory is threatened from like all angles essentially, as the Thin Bloods have their own territory now and are outright going against the Camarilla. There are, word of hunters operating now in, Arizona, as well as the Anarchs now have their own territory, here. So it feels like things are slipping sort of from her grasp, and this is just another issue, another straw on the camel's back, essentially. And yeah.
Before she finishes, like saying that she needs to see other people, say, may I interject, Your Highness? You seem quite upset for losing your seer, and may we offer a solution?
And she, Carl's like, "What the fuck, man?" As
Silence, Carl.
put your finger on his lips.
Yeah.
So she looks to you and like raises an eyebrow in a class. And Prince Vargas's character is Cynthia Marie, so imagine just Cynthia Marie raising her eyebrow and all that kind of stuff. And she essentially goes like, "I am very interested. If you can, accomplish, anything that would help, I would be indebted to you even more."
If we may secure our status, we might be able to solve your problem with Leia. If we may be seen with her without any repercussions.
And she looks to you and goes like, "Do whatever you need to. I won't pass judgment on you. I can't say the same about the rest of our sort of society here, because they can be very judgmental about different things. But I hold no ill will towards you for interacting with Leia. She was a fine seer, and it's sad to see how she's fallen from grace in that regard. But if there's anything you can do to find a replacement for her, or assist her in some way, then that would be wonderful, because we need everything we can get." Yeah.
What these peasants think of me, I do not care. If we can guarantee what you think of us, then I am very happy to help you. And I look towards to the coterie. It's like,
Oh, it'll be my pleasure.
As always, happy to serve.
I bow deeply.
As she gives you a slight head nod, and she goes, "I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and please do let me know if you make any progress." As you guys, sort of take your exit, and the next group comes to greet her as she goes ahead.
Goodbye, Carl.
And then he just cries a single blood tear as
I'm gonna just wink at Carl. I think Carl's getting all this hate. I'm gonna wink at him. I'm gonna make him feel good.
you do so.
Just wink and give him a little charming
As he
smile
catches
before
it,
leaving.
and then keep it forever. So, very in this time, Bad Bunny is finishing up and playing his last song for the sort of evening before it transitions over to another musician you've never quite heard of before, but as a Toreador, and somehow, some way, he got to headline beyond Bad Bunny and all that kind of stuff. His name is Simon, and you may have interacted with him sometimes. You're not quite sure, but before Bad Bunny finishes up, is there anything you'd like to do here? Leia, you can still spot her across the way at the blood wine bar, just drinking her sorrows away, as everyone keeps a wide berth from her.
I'm gonna make a beeline towards her. Just not sprint, but I'm just gonna very casually walk. I'm gonna just very casually walk over to her and just take a seat at her side.
I think
Sure.
Nomi
With a drink in
will,
hand, legs crossed.
Yeah, Nomi will also flutter after. Because honestly, Nomi and Izu kind of have the least to lose in this situation, and if the two of them team up, I feel like they'd be safer being around her.
Bert, and then Raylan and Brother Carlos.
Raylan looks at Brother Carlos.
Brother Carlos looks at Raylan.
I think we just stand there, just off to the side, near a wall.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna be in the vicinity.
Yeah, with your drinks in hand. Bert. So you guys ambush Leia as she's 3 drinks in, essentially. And then she kind of chokes on her drink a little bit as she sees, Nomi and Izu appear, by her side. And she goes, "Oh," and she goes, it's good to see you, Nomi. Izu, as she kind of tries her best to fix her hair as much as possible. again, unless you have a sensory ability like Sense the Unseen, Oblivion Sight, or
Oops.
Raylan's ability, you're unable to see where the braid is. For that brief moment, you were able to see a small blurred area, but it's gone now. It lost in the sea of hair. But yeah,
I think Izzy sits down and goes, "Hey, cutie. You don't need to drop the formalities. It's fine. I don't need that. I'm not really a fan. Is everything okay? You're having fun." As I look at the drink, the empty drinks in front of her.
and she just like she has no tact and no like sort of etiquette. She goes, "No, it's not okay. Everyone hates me. Like last week this time, everyone was like singing my praises and I was getting everything right, and now it's all gone down so fast." And as she's just like, "God, I hate it here." As she just like kind of slams her drink and then gets another one. And then the servers do come around to all of you and offer you sort of drinks if you'd like any.
Thank you. Yes. And can we get one for Leia here as well?
And then
Yes, of course.
she takes two. It's,
Oh, okay.
Oh my.
and
Yeah, Nomi kind of compliments that by saying, "Yeah, we wanted to follow up with you and maybe spend a little time with you tonight."
and let's do composure and persuasion.
Ooh. Is it for both of us or just Naomi?
If you guys would like to, yeah. If you can also
I'll do it. Yeah.
And then and brother Carlos, did you also get bloodline as well, or do you like reject it?
I reject any form of drink.
Okay. And then Raylan, did you as well, or do you partake?
I
You're
don't
all at one
partake.
hunger, but it would just send you back to one hunger. Yeah.
I rolled 2 successes.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 2 successes.
Perfect. So with 2 successes, you kind of like tell her, come on, tell us, what's going on and how is it all going and everything. And she goes like, thank you guys for hanging out with me. Like I appreciate it. Like I am so sorry for how I like, walked out earlier. I just, I had a hope that you guys would want to hang out with me, but like you guys are way too cool for me. Like I totally understand this whole game we play, even though like I absolutely hate it. And she just begins to chug.
No, I understand it. Honestly, the whole social climbing that everyone seems to do is rather tiring to keep up with. And I look at Nomi, and I think they kind of smile and shrug, and then turn back to Leia and just go, "I think we have reason to believe what's going on with your visions is foul play, and we want to help you."
And she takes a look at you and raises her eyebrows as she kind of chokes on her drink again and goes like, "Excuse me? Like what do you mean?"
And I want to get like close. I'm gonna get close and whisper. We have on good authority someone that has eyes that are hard to deceive. That some kind of hex has been put on you that might be causing some sort of hindrance. We couldn't tell what all of the runes meant or did, but hindrance was involved. And considering your story about your visions, it's fair to assume that that is what is hindering.
And
There may even be a chance that you're not the only one this has happened to.
And she looks at you in awe at this information, and she goes like, "How? Like where? What? Like?" As she kind of just like looks at herself, and then can't quite see anything that like is affecting her.
Not here. Do you mind if we meet in the bathroom? We'll bring some of our friends who have more of an eye for this sort of thing, so they can see if they can fix this or help.
And she was like, "If you could fix this, go for it."
Oh, we do have a VIP room. Just
It's true, yeah.
Is that closed off, or is it just like a VIP room that's roped off? Because if it's closed, I'd rather it be. I think Izzy wants to go to a place where people can't see us do
There
this.
are no hard walls, but there are thick curtains that people can't see through. That way, if you want to privately feed, you can go ahead and do so. Yeah.
And clear up your feet. Okay. I think thick curtains would be enough. So yeah, I think he'll go. Actually, considering the size of our coterie, maybe our VIP area. How about that? How does that sound?
And she goes like, done, as she slams her drink onto the counter and goes, if you could fix this, absolutely, whatever you can do, please, as she like gets excited and like
And I go like, "Tsh, shh, shh, shh." Like I said, this might be foul
they're my
play.
friends, as like
No, he just goes, as I said, this might be foul play, and for we know the person who did this to you might be around. The last thing we want is for them to realize that we're helping or fixing this problem, because they might take more permanent precautions next time.
Mhm.
and then she absolutely says yes. So you guys will transition over to this VIP lounge, as there's one security guard there specifically for this VIP lounge. Inside of it, you see that there are 3 humans that are like there to be fed upon if you wish. Otherwise, you can kick them out to have privacy and all that kind of stuff. And then there's the curtains that you can close off to the rest of the venue. That way, no one can see what's going on.
I would like to ask the security guard to leave our lounge as well. And I'd be like, I know you're on duty, but could you just give us 10, 20 minutes? You could have one of them. And I'll point at one of the humans as payment. How's that sound?
They look to Nomi for permission.
Novi gives that like slow nod and then glances over at the humans and says, "Take your pick, dear."
And he's like, yes! And then takes the most muscular man in the Speedo.
Yes.
And then they go off. You are left in private as the sound of the music begins to lessen and is dampened by the thick curtains. You hear the cheering as Bed Bunny is finished and is beginning to transition over to Simon. As you like about to get in there, you see that he has a keytar that he's about to like jam out on. And then
He's like the Weird Al of vampires.
I love that.
And yeah, so you have privacy in this room. What would you like to do?
So I'd like to make sure she's comfortable, like settle her down in, get her maybe one more drink. And have we called Raylan and Carlos over yet?
I assume so, yeah.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the 2 of us are probably just having a really, really dry conversation. Just talking like logistics, like, do you have an extra pair of shoes back in the basement?
Of course I do. Blankets too.
Oh, good. How many belts? do you
Riveting
have?
conversation, you two. We need you.
Okay.
Point of order. Bad Bunny definitely gyrates as he looks Brother Carlos straight in the eyes. And,
Yes.
I'm like mean mugging Bad Bunny. I'm like, I will fight you.
Perfect. So you're in this room. We're gonna say, Raylan, that your vision is still there. We're gonna say, Brother Carlos, your vision is still there, so you can clearly see the braided piece of hair with the beads and the ruins sort of on it and everything, and you can see this aura that's emanating from it and affecting her in some way. You assume that it's more of the hindrance side because of the information you pulled from your occult knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, as we're kind of like setting up for this scene, as she's getting comfortable, Raylan will like explicitly ask for permission to touch her hair, and if she gets it, she'll like pull it aside very gently and hold it up and show Brother Carlos.
Perfect. So she goes, absolutely, whatever you need to do, please do it, because I just want my old life back. And yeah,
Does Brother Carlos see what I saw?
absolutely.
Now that I see it again, do I get the sense that if we remove this from them, that it's gonna be safe? Or
With your previous knowledge, you are unsure. You know that it's causing her harm in a hindrance sort of capacity while it's on, but you don't know what's going to happen when you remove it. And it can be severed by severing the braided piece of hair. So, like, yeah.
Okay. I don't want to do a risky play at an Elysium, but if I'm allowed to, I will use. Uh, let me know if I still need to make a rouse check for this, but
Mhm.
I will use like my shadow to snip it.
Sure, if you'd like to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can also use your fangs as or yeah, fangs as knives, because you could say they're sharp enough or whatever. But if you want to like use your tendrils to be able to like snip it, you absolutely can.
Mhm.
And then yeah, so it's just a quick like snap. It's just hair. It cuts through very very easily, and as it does so, you see a wash, a wave of sort of like emotions and feelings comes over her as she kind of like shudders a little bit, and her eyes roll in the back of her head as she begins to sort of convulse a little bit. Now you know that when Malkavians or anyone who has premonition uh, peers into the past, present, and the future, they do have this happen to them. So she's having a vision at this moment, and
Raylan, as a registered and well-practiced nurse, will do what is appropriate to make someone comfortable while they're having a seizure.
sure. Yeah, you clear it. You put her on the sort of floor, and then that way she won't injure herself in any way, shape, or form. And you wait for a few awkward moments as she like convulses. But thankfully, you hear Simon like just say his sort of thing, but like I always wanted to play at Elysium ever since I got embraced. I just want to play one of my hit songs. You probably heard it from the '80s, and it goes a little something like this as he gets to like play out his heart on the guitar. Doing a sweet solo, and
Is it called Simon Says?
Simon says, "There you go." Yeah.
Yes.
So, and
100%.
and fun fact, Simon is actually a player in like one of the other games who spent their boon to be the final act in like an Elysium. So that's
Really?
yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
I love that.
So yes. So at this time, she comes to as she gasps in horror and looks like she's seen like something terrible and horrible, and yeah, and then she looks very actually, I'll give this to you guys. So, she looks to you guys. Now, she specifically looks over to Nomi, and she like gets really really aggressive as she throws herself at Nomi. As you guys look over to Nomi, you can see that there's a very clear sort of red dot that's on her chest, that's kind of tracing it a little bit. And in that split second, she's moved Nomi out of the way to the point where you see a wooden stake just pierce and pop into the actual like wall behind her and everything. And it's at this time that you see the lights begin to shut off as everyone sort of like freaks out here, and they're like, "What the heck's going on?" And all of a sudden, the sounds of like windows crashing and like objects being thrown in and people screaming begin to erupt here as Leia looks over to you guys and goes, "We have to leave. The second, or the not second Inquisition, the Special Affairs Division are here. They're going to try to capture everyone." As she like screams to you guys. Now, lore-wise, you know that the Special Affairs Division is a secret branch of the government that specifically hunts vampires and werewolves and all that sort of stuff. So they know how to take you guys down. As now. I believe it was Nomi and Izu who drank the blood wine. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Roll your willpower. Or sorry, yeah. Essentially roll your willpower. So how much ever willpower you have, go ahead and roll the dice.
That many dice.
Oh, thank you so much for the raid. Transplaner RPG. You guys are amazing.
Oh, hi, Transplant buddy.
Translator.
Hello.
Hi.
How was your finale?
You're about to watch some Kindred get staked.
4 successes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Rolled 4 dice and got 4 successes.
That's 3 successes for me.
Okay, good. So, you needed 4 to succeed. Do you want to spend a point of willpower to re-roll, or do you want to?
Yeah, I absolutely do. So yeah, let me take that willpower point off here.
Okay, and then
PowerPoint.
you can. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's a 7.
7. Okay, good. So, with both of you guys have 4 successes. As you, as this all occurs, you make your way to do something drastic to be able to like take cover or something like that, and your mind reels with this sort of like hindrance and like throbbing as you're like, oh shit, I think I was like there was something in the blood wine. As you look over at other people, I guess there's some light that's pouring through. As you look over at other kindred that seem groggy as sort of well, but you guys are able to shake it off as you kind of like, realize that this is a do or die sort of situation. And now, question. From the vehicles that you guys arrived in, who has the biggest vehicle that you feel like can accommodate everyone?
Thing is Nomi.
Well, we don't have a vehicle.
Yeah, exactly.
We
came
Can we
with a
hitch
yellow
ride?
cab.
Yeah.
I came in a motorbike.
That's
and I
right.
think
Yeah, so it would be Nomi.
Nomi's the only one that came in like a full car.
Yeah, because you had a limo, right? You rented a limo for this occasion.
Yeah,
Alright,
she rented a Rolls Royce, so there should be enough room for everyone.
Perfect. So you know that more than likely you're gonna have to get to Nomi's limo and all that kind of stuff in order to get there. So, Raylan?
I'd like to peek through the curtain and see where the prince has gone, if they're still there.
What's an awareness?
I would like to help if I can.
And do you have a
Or at
ability
least
sight
two
on
as
it, or
well.
do you have just normal vision?
I just have normal vision.
Okay.
Can I roll as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. What's an awareness?
Because what's not right?
2 successes. Sorry,
What-
3.
Okay.
0,
so
0, 8.
with 3 successes, you scan
successes.
the room as you see operatives are breaching through the doors, and there's like, gunfire happening from the security teams that are immediately mobilizing to defend all the party participants, while the other side of the venue, people are pouring out of to try to escape and everything, for whatever way they can. In your scanning, you do see the prince, as the prince is taken off guard by this, and also the Baron as well, as various members of her security detail are forming a shield to be able to escort her out of this sort of situation. The Baron, however, is fighting with everyone else to try to like take down these sort of operatives. As you sort of take a moment to listen, you hear the sounds of choppers outside, and searchlights are like scanning the sort of area for different sort of people. And then, Izu, what did you roll?
I rolled 2 successes.
Okay, so same information. You get that
yeah.
same thing, yeah. Carlos, your Oblivion sight is activated, so you'll have an easier time doing any sensory checks. You do see various ways to get out of this sort of situation. Yeah. So, what would you guys like to do?
We should rescue the Baron if we can.
I'm gonna do. First thing I'm gonna do is I am going to do a browse check for my shadow cast.
Go for it. Yep. Thank you so much for the raid. You guys are amazing.
Hi, Daryl. Thanks for the raid.
Okay, I get hungrier.
Okay.
And I am gonna use my shadow cast, and basically my shadow just elongates and holds on to Nomi and Izu. And I just tell them, my shadow will guide you to the exit.
I appreciate it, but I have other plans. I'll meet you outside, I promise.
Raylan takes the other hand of the shadow. I'll go.
Yeah.
Shadow Clone Jutsu activated.
Yeah. I'm not a combatant. I can't do anything here.
I'm sorry you said that, because 3 operatives have just arrived as they
Perfect.
dress you. They have these like essentially like stake sort of guns that they shoot wooden stakes out at high velocity. So really quick, how combat works in Vampire the Masquerade is that those of you with celerity will automatically go first, and then if no one has celerity, which I know that Izu does, but after that it'll go dexterity order. So whoever has the most dexterity, what'll happen is that you choose to do something on your turn, and they also get to have a reaction. So if you choose to punch someone, they can choose to defend or try to punch you back. Whoever has the most successes will be able to have their ultimate goal achieved in some manner, shape, or form. So anyone else have celerity, or is it just Izu? All right, you go first. So your unnatural vampiric speed is here. We'll go ahead and let you have fleetness because you already activated it prior.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just looking through what I can do. I'll lunge at. First, I want to ask. This is like above game, just to make sure, so I
Sure.
know that I'm acting on the same thing as Izu's acting on. Did Raylan say barons on purpose? Like they mean like the Anarch's baron or the Camarilla's prince that we should protect?
The Baron, because what Raylan saw is the prince is getting away with like a whole wall of vampires, but the Baron is in the thick of it.
Okay. Okay, cool. I think in that case, I'm gonna personally roll for loyal. I'm gonna do a loyalty roll.
Sure, go for it. Yeah. You're like,
Okay,
bye,
he's feeling
nerds.
loyal right now. He's feeling loyal right now. He's gonna charge at one of these operatives and just go for a punch to the gut.
Sure.
And
So to fight, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and roll either your strength or dexterity, and then it's going to be your brawl.
Okay.
So if you have a melee weapon, then you'll use melee, and then if you have a firearm, it'll be firearms or whatever. And then, yeah, so whatever's to your benefit.
We were just having drinks, and Leia took 2. I would like to just take one of the glasses and smash it and use that as a
Sure.
melee weapon.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and use melee now. That is like it'll just be a +1 damage essentially. So go ahead and roll your strength or dexterity, and then your melee.
Okay, I'm just checking because I also have potence.
Oh,
So I want to
nice.
see if I want to activate. If activating that will help aid this.
And which one do you have for your ability?
I have lethal body and prowess.
Oh God, yeah. Then you might actually be better with unarmed then, because lethal body.
Unarmed? Okay.
Your unarmed combat will inflict aggravated damage to mortals if desired. You also ignore 1 level of the. Yeah, so essentially, you punch with such force that it just shatters bones and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. So you see with just incredible speed as I think they're probably seated at this, like seated with their legs crossed. All of a sudden they're across the room in front of this operative and try to slam their fist into their gut. And I'm going to roll for this. So this would be
Strength or dexterity, and then it'll be brawl.
yeah. Okay. Dexterity.
And they are just going to go ahead and try to stake you.
That is.
And they got 3 successes.
I got 6.
6?
So...
Okay, good. So you got a ton of successes. So in this time, you go to this operative who they have like laser sight, and you see them have night vision sort of goggles that's activated to see all of you guys. And they immediately pointed at you, and before their laser can even like reach your body, you're on on top of them, and you take your fist and you just drive it through their body armor and everything. So that's 3 more successes than they had, and then it's going to be aggravated. So we're going to go ahead and say they double over. So as you shatter their armor and you crack their kind of like sternum and everything, they just gasp as they drop their gun and fall to sort of the ground and just double over essentially, as the other ones are like, Jesus, as they freak out a little bit.
And the whole time, like Izu's like has a bored expression on their face. Like they didn't even really pull back very hard when they threw the punch. They didn't seem to exert themselves to run up and close that distance. They kind of just look towards the other of the operatives and kind of smile again, never reaches their eyes as they get prepared for whatever comes next.
Perfect. So then after that, who has what's your guys' dexterity? 2?
2.
2? Of course. All right. So it'll be the operatives then. So one of the operatives is going to look to now, are you doing Cloak of Shadows, like stealthing them, or is it just guiding sort of them to?
Oh, kind of guiding them. So
Okay.
basically, like my shadow becomes Peter Pan's shadow,
Got it.
and
Okay.
kind of like
It's
Because
showing-
we can't see in the dark.
yeah.
Yeah. So one of the operatives is going to point their gun at Raylan. So they have their stake, gun or crossbow or whatever. And so what you're going to do is you can decide to either dodge, which is your dexterity and athletics, or you can choose to fight back with something. So if you need advice, let me know, because I can always try to offer like
Okay.
what is best in your situation.
I have a couple of abilities that might be able to do something. I'm not sure if I can like activate those as like a rebuttal.
Absolutely, yeah. You guys go at the same time, so if you wanted to fight back or use an ability on them to try to counter them, you can do so. Yeah.
Okay. I want to use command.
Sure. Yeah. Go for it.
Okay. Do I need to roll anything? All it says is
yes.
give a simple one-word order that the target must obey.
So that is dominate, right?
Yes.
Okay, so dominate command. That is going to be. I'm pretty sure it's going to be your charisma and dominate. It might be manipulation
Okay.
actually.
I think it's called compel here.
Oh, is it compel? Okay, yeah. So your compel is going to be your charisma and dominate, versus
Okay.
their intelligence and resolve. So, and your dominate score is your discipline points.
Yep. Okay, so I have 2, and then you said charisma. So that's 6 die. Does that include my hunger die?
Yeah. So it'll be 6 dice, and then
Uh-huh.
one of those 6 will be your hunger die. It's
Okay,
never in addition to. It's a part of your
Okay,
dice pool. Yeah.
so rolling 6 dice. I rolled a 2 on my hunger die. Got a. I rolled 3 ones, a 3 and a 4.
All right.
At least it's
so-
not with your hunger die. That
and-
would have been bad.
Yeah. So, in the situation, yeah. So they got 1, 2, 3. So they got 3 successes. And you got 0, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, what happens at this time is that they take their crossbow and they go ahead and point it at you, and the laser beam gets to you as you are just registering how fast Izu moved and disabled his target. But then you look over to this operative and you try your best to compel and reach into their mind, and you get it for just a brief second, but it's not enough as the stake reaches you and you don't have stake bait, right?
No.
Okay, good, because that would have been very awkward. So it just lodges into you. So they got 3 successes, and we're gonna say it's another. Yeah, so you're gonna. We'll say they miss your actual heart by just a bit. So you're gonna have 2 points of aggravated for this one. So in Vampire the Masquerade for health, there's superficial damage and there's aggravated damage. So superficial is marked with a slash, and that's like a bullet wound or getting punched or something like that. Super easy to heal from. Aggravated is something that hurts a lot and is going to take a lot more energy and time to actually alleviate from. So you're going to take 2 aggravated. If you reach full aggravated, you go into torpor, where you just go unconscious, and it's going to be a while before you can wake up.
Okay.
And then so after that, that was the only operative because there were only 2. So it's going to go to Brother Carlos.
I am going to blood surge.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do a rouse check right now.
And from your great introductions, you all have a +1 to your dice pool at whatever thing you want to do it at. Yeah.
Well, I rolled a 10, so I don't get hungrier.
Perfect.
I'm gonna use my my arms of Ahriman.
Perfect.
So I get an additional 2 to my 6 dice pool. So I'm rolling 8.
Oof. Okay. And they have reloaded, and they're going to try to shoot back. Oh, that was not good. Okay. They got 2 successes.
Lethal body is free, so this also counts. Yeah, I get 4, 8, 9 successes.
Describe to me how you brutally murder this person.
I think after seeing his sister essentially get staked through, you see shadows come off of him from his black garb and crawl up this guy's leg and pull him up, and you see another one shoot at his neck, and then little by little you just hear a cracking sound, and then you see the body drop.
Yeah. And then and perfect. So once again, they do on their body, as like a quick reference, they do have 2 very large knives that's sort of on them, as well as they have their crossbows with sort of like stakes in them. If you wanted to pick them up and use them as weapons for the future, or leave it be and use your abilities.
I absolutely pick up that knife when it's my turn.
And then there's 1 more knife available, and then 2 of the crossbows. If anyone wants to pick up anything, that would be your firearms would affect, or your melee would affect. So in this time, combat has ended as There were only 2 operatives that found you guys specifically and tried to like get you guys. And now you guys can choose to either go and try to help the Baron, which means you'll have to fight more people, or do an dexterity athletics to get out of here as fast as possible. Because every moment that passes, more operatives are coming in. The smoke that's kind of in starting to engulf this place is starting to mess with your eyes a little bit and starting to seems pretty bad. It's like a red mist essentially.
Yeah, Nomi doesn't want to stay in this mess, and she has street racing for driving, so she can absolutely drive the getaway car accurately. So
Yeah, I think Raylan's kind of clutching at where the injury is and says, perhaps the Baron does have their own people.
And if you wanted to, Raylan, you could choose to do 3 rouse checks to try to get rid of an aggravated point. But that might mean you fail all 3 and you get 3 hunger if you want to try it.
But you get to heal the
I
aggravated.
want to do it just for the drama.
Go for it, yeah.
Do I roll 3 dice?
3 d10s, and then whichever one is 5 and below, you get another point of hunger for that.
Okay, I rolled 2 6s and a 2.
Okay, so one
You
point
get
of
1 hunger.
Yeah, but you're now at only 1 aggravated. So that means that, you just have you're healed for 1 more. So at this time, everyone who wants to escape, go ahead and do your athletics and dexterity to book it out of here.
I'm going to help the Baron. I kind of like, I have this knife, and this feels like the moment it's in my hand, you can tell like I'm in my zone. I kind of flip it and grab it by the blade and point at Raylan while looking at Brother Carlos and Nomi and just say, make sure to get out of here safely. Look after yourselves. I'll meet you outside. Like I said, I have another plan.
After hearing this, I'm gonna switch over. I'm gonna guide Nomi and Raylan, and then I'm gonna send my shadow to help clear the path for Izu wherever he's heading.
There's this like really dramatic moment where like you're looking this way, Raylan's looking this way, we're standing side by side. Raylan's not looking at you. Raylan says, if you die here, then we can't dance again. And then leaves.
I think,
I love it.
for this, I think he smiles and we're not facing each other, so you can't tell this, but the viewer sees that the smile actually reaches his eyes this time as he charges into the, I guess, dance floor, which is not a battlefield.
Right? Yeah. So, Nomi, what would you like to do in this time?
Nomi's going to continue leading with Carlos and Raylan. Like she's not interested in staying. Like this is not benefiting her in any way. And the one thing she does do is that she does turn around and call back to Izu and say, well, make it quick. I'll have the car heated up.
Will do.
And then she just kind of beelines out. She knows exactly where her car is. Would you like me to describe what happens when she gets to the car, or do we want to hold on?
Oh, you're not at the car yet.
Okay, good. Yeah. So she's gonna go toward the car.
Okay, so go ahead and do your dexterity and athletics.
Dexterity, where are my athletics? 0. Dexterity, save my life, please. Oh, and I don't get my hunger die with this. It's just the 2, right?
If your dice pool is only 1, then it's just a hunger die. Yeah.
Okay, I have no athletics but 2 dexterity.
Okay, good. So you'll roll 2 dice, and then one of those will be your hunger. Yeah.
Okay. Ugh. Can I spend a willpower to reroll? I got like a 10 and a 0.
Oh no, that's good. That's a critical success. So
okay, fantastic.
That is 4 successes instead of just 2. However, which one was? No, they're both 10s. Never mind. So one of them was a 10, and it was your hunger die. That means that you have a messy critical. So the good thing is no one gives a shit because everyone's trying to survive essentially. But you break the masquerade in this time to go abnormally fast. Like your fangs bare, your eyes go red, and you're like, fuck this shit. As you hop over everything and dash through the building to be able to get out of here. You have no issue evading any of the stakes that are flying over your head, piercing some people that you were just talking to earlier, and it's a madhouse here essentially as you get out. So Brother Carlos, what would you like to do?
Mostly I'm gonna guide Raylan to the exit. Um,
Oh yeah, let me roll for your Malkavian companion.
oh yeah,
Oh, they're good. They got 4 successes, so they're also yeah.
cool. And at the exit, I'm gonna look at Izu, and Izu, you're gonna notice the shadow just like pat you on the shoulder and just dissipate because I'm gonna be out of sight. So yeah.
He'll just nod and smile as he again twirls the knife in his hand as he gets ready.
Perfect. And then, so if you're gonna escape, you can do your athletics dexterity. If you want to fight, you can go ahead and do whatever you're gonna do, your strength or dexterity, and then your melee. And then, so I got to roll for Izu because he's gonna fight an operative really quick.
Yeah. Is my prowess still activated?
Correct. So this is the same
Okay,
scene.
cool.
So
Amazing.
Oblivion Sight, Fleetness, all that stuff will still be active. Oh, and you're fighting an operative, so they need the full.
And
2
when
successes.
you have a
All right.
When you have a specialization, do you add a +1 to it? Plus
Correct.
one die?
Yeah, you add another die. So if
Okay.
it's knives specifically or sharp objects or whatever, then yeah.
Yeah, it's knives. Yeah.
I got 2 successes, but I'm gonna roll my extra die that I
Go for
had
it.
from the beginning.
Yeah.
That brings me to the 3rd.
Okay, and then
Success.
Raylan, go ahead and roll your athletics dexterity to try to
Okay.
book it.
I'll use my extra die too.
Sure.
I
Yes.
got
Ooh.
1 success.
1 success. Okay. And then Izu?
Just to confirm, because it doesn't really tell me if this is a failure. When you roll your hunger die, is a 1 a failure or anything under a 6? A
Anything
failure?
under a 6. So 5 and
Okay.
below. So if you get a 6 and above, it's still a success on your hunger die.
Yeah. Okay. So I got hungry. I got 1.
Oh no, you're
hungry.
fine. If you use an ability, then it'll increase your hunger. But if you fail your check and get a 1 on your hunger die, that's a bestial failure. Or if you get a critical and one of the hunger dice is a 10, then it's a messy critical. So that's kind of like how
Okay.
hunger dice affect it. So how many successes did you get?
I got 5 successes.
Oh, you're golden then. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So with those 5 successes, you slice and dice this operative who was probably like has their hands on an anarch and like pinning them down to shoot them in the chest. And right before you were able to do that, or they are able to do that, you come in and describe to me the carnage that you unleash upon this operative.
I think I'm very much. I think everyone. I mean, I think everyone's out. Everyone, the coterie is out, so they don't see this.
All
But
but one.
for the viewers, they see that usually whenever Izzy fights, he's very direct, just straight to the point, deals with the problem and leaves. But I think right now he's very much making sure eyes are on him. He's trying to make it. He wants to be seen. He wants Izu, the member of the Camarilla, to be seen as the savior of any Camarilla kindred he's saved, any Anarch kindred he's saved.
Yeah.
And if at any
Yeah.
point it happens, the Baron that he saves, if it happens at any point, he wants it to be seen. So you kind of see like very unnecessarily, you see as this person's about to stake this Anarch, you see a knife fly through and just ram into their throat. And that's a killing blow. Like they're dead.
Yeah.
They're down. It's fine. But then you see Izzy come in and basically curb stomp the knife deeper in and pushes them off this Anarch as they look down at the Anarch and smile, and then pulls the knife out and moves on to anyone else. And their goal is to get to the Baron and like
You have. So
Yeah.
at this
Okay.
time, you've arrived at sort of Baron, and he's fighting right beside you. He's pretty tough as he's taking like he like catches a stake midair and then just like jabs it into someone else and like all that sort of stuff. And he does look to you, and he goes like like good hunting as but you guys are starting to get surrounded and starting to get like overwhelmed. And he goes, we we better get out of here. Like go ahead and
Yes.
yeah, so you're good. So you will automatically succeed in your escape because you've carved a path through. Is there anything else you wanted to do in this?
as we're fine and like he says good hunting, I'd be like, you're not so bad yourself. Is it Okoro? What's your name? And then like stabbing one person and like shoveling them off.
As he takes a moment to shake your hand as he's like tearing someone's ribs apart. And then, yeah, and then you made the introduction with the Baron, and you have that connection now, essentially, and you know it's he recognizes it. So whether it's a boon or not, you're unsure, but like you feel that it might be able to come back later. Meanwhile, not so gracefully, is Raylan, who chose not the Nikes to wear to this event. So they're struggling to get out of this room. So an operative will do like an opportunity attack. So not a full-blown combat against you, but like at least one try to strike against you. So do you want to try
I totally consent to dying, by the way. So like, you don't have to pull your punches.
No, you're fine. So you're good.
Okay. Okay.
So you always get a clap back, essentially. So if you want to use compel again, you can, or whatever else you want to do to try to like. But you awkwardly bump into an operative, and they turn their weapon on you.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to command again.
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like statistically, this is
They
in
got-
my favor.
They got one
Bound to
success,
happen at
so
some
you
point.
should be able to screw this one. Yeah.
Okay, I rolled a 10 on my. Oh no, that's a 1. I rolled a 1 on my hunger die.
Don't fail.
I got 1 success.
You got one success.
Yeah, I got a 1, 1, 3, 3, 6.
You know what? You're the initiator because you were the one running. So you're gonna win this one, essentially. So they had one success, and you have one success. So therefore, you're able to barely skate by. So you did compel. So in compel, you have a short sentence that you can order them to do, and they have to reasonably be able to do it. That doesn't inflict self-harm on them. What is it that you'd like to do?
It says here I can only give them 1 word.
One word or short sentence, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll tell them sleep.
Okay, perfect. So they look to you, and their eyes roll in the back of their head as they fall over and just like completely just pass out for a little bit. And you escape this area as like everyone's running for their lives, essentially. As you guys are walking out, or running out rather, Nomi, right next to you is Leia, this Malkavian. As she had a vision as she just got there, and she puts a hand on your shoulder and goes like, there's going to be a helicopter that's going to chase us and shoot at us. We have to, be careful, as she tells you this. And moments afterwards, your other members of the coterie appear. Do you want to inform them or just
Oh no, I'm immediately going to inform them. I'm gonna say we need to get moving as quickly as humanly or non-humanly possible. We're about to be in a lot of trouble.
I'd like to just add that Izu is sexily covered in blood. In a very sexy way. Just want to make that clear.
All right, so this will be a new scene. So the abilities that you paid for before no longer apply here. So if you want to reactivate anything, you have to do the rouse check. So in this time, you look to the street of downtown Phoenix as you see everyone screaming for their lives. Even mortals who have nothing to do with what's going on. They're freaking out because like SWAT teams essentially are appearing. But they're not just SWAT teams serving the Phoenix Police Department. They're serving the Special Affairs Division. And sure enough, there's a chopper that you begin to hear, Nomi. And so if you go ahead and do a Dexterity Athletics, unless there's something else that you guys would like to do. And and your difficulty will be easier because the threat is coming.
Okay.
Just to get to the car?
Correct. Get to the parking garage where
Okay, get to the
Nomi's
parking garage.
vehicle is.
I rolled.
I want to take my bike. Can I take my motorbike?
If you'd like to, yeah. So it's still going to be
Yes.
athletics dexterity to get to your
Yeah.
motorbike, but yeah. You're like, everyone get on.
Yeah. So I rolled a 6 and a 5. I think that's.
You got one success. So for dexterity athletics, so you said you have no athletics, so you do have one success. And then Raylan?
This is, you said like dexterity and athletics?
Correct. Unless there's something else you'd like to do, yeah.
I rolled a 5 and a 3.
5 and a 3, okay. And then Brother Carlos?
I got one success. I'm just gonna spend a willpower
Sure.
because I got a bestial failure on one of my die.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, that's 2 successes.
Okay, good. So perfect. And then Izu.
I rolled 7 successes, but 2 10s. And
Two
then a
tens?
6.
Okay, so that's a critical
and 9,
success.
yeah.
And then do you was one of the hunger dice a 10?
No, it was an 8.
Okay, you're fine. Yeah, so you succeed as you dart away and find yourself at your motorbike. As you look back to see your coterie members like aren't faring so well. Like Brother Carlos is the
Oh.
one that's making the most headway, but they have to keep stopping to be like, what direction is your parking garage? Like, where are you like at? As Nomi is trying to point out where it is. Let me see your Malkavian companion as well.
You're struggling the most.
Raylan is struggling the most.
Yeah,
and
I think you have
it's
0 successes. Yeah, or something.
yeah. And I
Okay.
think it's Raylan's like got this like big ass heavy dress. It's like bunched up in their arms. They're like,
Fashion over practicality. Yeah.
I'm gonna like, I guess if this is okay, if this is another check, I'll do it. Like, I want to like start my bike up and then ride over to Raylan's side and just go get on, because Raylan seems to be struggling
Nice.
with athletics things the most. So I just want to get them out of that athletics track as soon as possible. Get on, hold on tight.
Sure. So, Brother Carlos, you did succeed with 2 successes. Nomi, you had failed with only 1 success in this time. So you're trying your best to get over it, but maybe you're being pushed by the crowd and like all this sort of stuff is happening. Do you have your powers on your sheet for your disciplines? For Nomi?
Know me?
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Sorry about that. Let me go back to my sheet. Yeah, I have 3 different sets of powers listed.
Oh, good. And what are the ones listed? Is it like
So I've got. Oh wait, this whole time I've had sense the unseen.
Oh yeah, okay. I was
I've
wondering. I was
got-
like, is it just Tremere? And then like,
Yeah, I know. I wasn't. Gosh,
You're
I
good.
was like not looking at that part of the. Okay, cool. So I've got sense the unseen, premonition, corrosive vitae. I've never pronounced that. Extinguish, and then rapid
Ooh.
reflexes.
Nice. Okay, good. I'm glad you have rapid reflexes because there is
Yes.
a helicopter with a very large weapon that's firing like at you essentially. So
Yeah.
you hear it begin to wind up and then begin to unload. So Izu, I'm going to need you to roll a dexterity and drive check to try to catch Raylan to get her out of the situation. Brother Carlos, you're safe at a Starbucks across the street, like watching this all unfold. And Nomi, you can activate your rapid reflexes, which are free, which will allow you to try to help you dodge the situation. So go ahead and do your dexterity athletics, and I believe you add your celerity to that. And then, Brother Carlos, is there anything you like to do? You can do that.
I was actually gonna do the shadow thing again
Oh, cool.
because I can apparently, like, I checked it and I can just cast it as long as there's no light. It can be
right on.
anywhere I can see with where there's no light.
Darkness. Okay.
Yeah, I was hoping if I could. Well, let me do my rouse check first. And that's fine. It was a 7. I wanted to spawn my shadow next to the pilot,
Uh-huh.
so the shadow can pull the lever.
Oh, can it interact
To-
with objects?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
cool.
it can interact with like people and objects.
And does that have a like Oblivion plus something versus something, or is it?
Yeah. Resolve Nomi's first. I feel. Let me just double check on this.
Sure. So Nomi, what did you get for your
I got a 6 and an 8.
6 and an 8? Okay. So with the 6 and an 8, you got 2 successes. So with those 2 successes, your rapid reflexes activate as you call upon your blood, and you hear the sounds of cracking concrete below you as like there's just like craters now, and you dance between all of them to try to dodge all of this, which is great. You have this because it would have been terrible had you not.
Yeah, seriously.
And, sure enough, you were able to dodge this. Carlos, you need a little bit more time.
Actually, I can't do that. It's probably too far. It can only go 2 yards. And
Okay.
2 meters, 2 yards. So yeah, never mind.
Oh, you're good. Yeah. And then Izu, what did you roll?
I think this is like a critical success. I rolled 6 successes, 3 10s. One of them was my I don't know. It automatically rolls hunger dice. I don't know if that counts
That's
in this
good. Yeah,
case,
that's
but
fine. So
Yeah.
that will be a messy critical then. So that means you pull upon your vampiric powers to make yourself like more keen than usual. And sure enough, you fast and furious swoop up Raylan and like throw her on the bike as there's craters where she was standing previously. And in this time, you clear this area, and you're getting closer and closer to the parking garage as less and less people are like around here. You see some kindred that are running for their lives and all that kind of stuff, or unlives, and you see some mortals that are also running and everything. And it's getting a little bit more quieter. But you do turn a corner to find that the same woman you met on the dance floor, Sierra, the child of the Baron, is surrounded by operatives, and she's fighting for her unlife essentially. She doesn't see you at this time. And the operatives don't see you, so you can choose to like let it go and just get to your the vehicle in safety and get out of here, or you can choose to try to engage and
Damn it.
potentially save her. Yeah,
I'm trying to gauge if.
and you all see this. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm trying to gauge if Izzy wants Raylan's safety more or the potential contact
Can I
with.
Ooh.
do a little PvP here?
if you want to. Yeah.
Jack, you okay with that?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, yeah, full
I'm gonna try to cast command on you.
Ooh. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Do I roll anything for this? I don't know
Yes.
what.
So you're gonna do your intelligence and resolve. So and
Okay.
then she will do
Intelligence,
her
resolve.
charisma
Okay.
and dominate.
Yeah, so I rolled 4 successes.
Intelligence, resolve. And I'm gonna use my extra die for this.
And, sure,
I don't think Izzy
And
appreciates
Is it
being
compel
manipulated.
or mesmerize?
It's command.
Command. Okay, let me check that.
That is 5 successes.
Damn it!
If you want to spend a willpower point, you can try to re-roll anything that you missed, or up to 3.
Yeah.
That's not hunger.
Yeah, I'll use 2. So I'm down. I only have 2 left. All right, I rolled another success, so it's equal.
Another. You are the initiator, so you succeed in this situation. So
Can
he's-
I use a willpower? Because I have 1 die that I can
Uh,
reroll.
Correct. Yeah. So if you want to re-roll to see if you can get just one more over, you can choose to try to do.
I think for who Izzy as is the person, they
Mhm.
strongly like their control. So I rolled a 10, so that is 7 successes.
Okay.
So what happens here is Raylan sees you looking over there, and I think there's like this dramatic shot of us like skirting to a halt like right at the end of the alleyway, and Raylan growls underneath her breath, and she leans forward. She has her arms around your waist on the motorbike. Her mouth is near your ear, and she says, "You feel this cool air, just the coldness of her breath against the side of your face, and you can tell that it's empowered. You can smell the blood on her breath." And she says, "Drive," but you manage to resist it.
And you
I
feel,
think
yeah, your
when-
mind. Oh, go for it.
I was just gonna say, I think I feel the grasp on my mind for a moment, and I think I acknowledge this, and I think from the angle you're at, you see my jaws clench, and I think all this time, this whole time we've been interacting, especially in this party, I think, even though you can tell that he's not being authentic, he has been warm. Does that make sense? Like, inauthentically warm, like at least trying to put up the air of that. But I think all of a sudden you feel this intense coldness go over them as you do this. And they say, gladly. And they're going to drive right into the group of operatives to run them over.
Okay. Go ahead and do your dexterity or composure and drive, because yeah, you don't need to act fast right now. You could act controlled. So dexterity or composure and drive. Meanwhile, Nomi and Brother Carlos, you also see this scene of like that, and then you see also the Baron's child being surrounded by operatives. If you'd like to ignore them and get to your vehicle, or go and assist?
Dang it, I kind of wanted to get to my vehicle and then start running people over.
You come out with a limo and just like crush them, and then like
Yeah, man.
Okay.
It's a big car. You can hit a lot of people at once.
4 successes.
Okay.
And yeah, 4 successes.
And then Brother Carlos, what would you like to do in this time?
So my sister is going back into the line of fire. So he's gonna have to just go in.
All right, so this will be the last, actually the last scene for tonight. You guys are entering into combat, but you have the advantages with the surprise attack, essentially. So with the 4 successes, you use your motorbike to immediately just run over one of them. And you, or if you want to, you can do the Akira style as you slide in,
Nice.
and then like knock someone over.
Yeah, that's what I'm aiming for. 100%.
Okay. So there were 4 operatives. Now there's 3. So it's like 3v4. I guess 5 technically. Actually 6 because there's a Malkavian too. You spent your drive to take out one of them. So now we'll go over to Nomi. What would you like to do in this time?
Well, if I can't get to my car in time and I'm just doing like one turn. Dang, she has a cool improvised weapons thing. Is there anything?
If you want to, you can do corrosive vitae, which means that you turn your blood into essentially acid that can literally melt metal and like all that sort of stuff. So you could choose to use that if you'd like to.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's go for that. So that would be like close range stuff, right?
However you want to do it. So if you want to say that you bite your cheek and then spit at them, or like wield your blood and then throw it or something like that. However you want to flavor
Yeah,
it.
I like the idea of a blood whip. She just
Sure.
gets like really frustrated and runs toward them, and she takes a little like clip off of her arm, and just kind of like whoop, like
Okay, good.
straight up at them.
So it costs a rouse check. So go ahead and roll a d10, and then if it's 6 and above, you gain no hunger. If it's 5 and below, you gain another point of hunger.
It is 4, so I'm gonna put in a
Okay, so you get another
hunger
point of
point.
hunger. As you rouse your blood and turn it into this very vile, sort of toxic alien blood sort of thing, as you end up like throwing it on one of the operatives, and they turn to face you guys, and as he's like aiming his crossbow towards you, it begins to melt his actual like gun to the point where he like tries to shoot it and it does nothing, as he just looks on in fear at what you're able to do, as you're a witch, a blood sorcerer essentially. And perfect. So going over to Brother Carlos.
I'm gonna do my rest check for my arms. That's an 8. I'm gonna do. There's still 3, right?
Correct. One no longer has their ranged weapon, but yeah, it still is.
We're gonna-
healthy. Yeah.
We're gonna max every single moment of this. I'm gonna do a blood surge on wits again. It's a 3, so I get hungrier,
Uh-huh.
and I'm gonna do another rouse check for prowess, and that's a 5. So I'm at hunger 4. So
Okay, great. So if he gets hunger 5, he goes into like a sort of frenzy and will feed on kindred or human the first thing he sees. Yeah.
you notice with this hunger, you start his forehead starts to bleed.
That's right. Yeah.
Both of his hands start to bleed, and his ribs start to bleed as well.
Oh yeah,
Stigmata. Yeah.
The J spots.
the
Yeah,
J
the J
spots.
J spots. Yeah, that's 2, 4, 6.
6. Oh yeah, you can say.
No. This is so 2 of those are crits plus 4, so 8, and that was a messy, like bloody miss or whatever. One on a
Messy
blood
crit.
die, but that doesn't really.
Oh yeah. You're good.
Yeah. Cool.
And that is That's 2 successes. So you had what, 8? You said.
8, and I'm trying to get all of them.
So you got 6, 6 more than them, and then you were
I
good with your
add
tendrils,
2
or-
more with prowess.
Okay, and then perfect. So with that, you can either immediately annihilate one, or you can go ahead and take out like do damage to 2 of them, essentially.
I will immediately annihilate 1.
Perfect. Your shadowy tendrils just pierce through their body armor and like destroy their sort of limbs as they crack and then crumble to sort of the ground. And after you, it goes to Raylan.
Okay. I will look to the closest one to me and I'll try to command them.
Okay.
Okay, that's 2 successes.
All right. So.
Oh, 3. God, I'm really bad at counting. I got an 8, a 10, and a 5.
8, 10, 5.
No, sorry, 5 is not a success. 2 successes.
Two says okay.
No, but a 10 is 2 successes.
Oh.
2 10s are 2 successes. Or sorry,
2
two 10s are 4 successes.
Okay, so 1 10 isn't.
Yeah.
2. Okay.
So.
Okay, I only have 2.
2. Okay, so they had 4 successes. So the one whose weapon was destroyed, they take their knife out and they rush towards you. As you look to them and you try to warp their mind. And do you want to do a point of willpower to reroll or anything?
What happens if I hit 0 willpower?
You'll be impaired.
Yeah, you'll be impaired, but yeah.
You can still go, but like some checks are going to be at a disadvantage.
I got 2 7s.
2 7s, nice. Okay, so you are the initiator,
Four.
so you meet it, you beat it. So what is the one-word command as they're running towards you with the knife?
Kneel.
They do so immediately and hard on the floor to the point where they fall over and their knife like flies essentially off aimlessly. And then and we'll go back over to Izu. Oh shoot! Actually,
Izu
hold on.
was-
They get to go. Sorry.
Yeah.
So one of them will try to attack Izu. So you can decide how you want to respond.
I'll just try and dodge it. I'll activate. Can I activate fleetness as
Sure.
a
Go and roll
reaction
your
to
rouse
this?
check. So a 1d10.
Success.
Okay. So you don't get another point of hunger, and then go ahead and roll your athletics, dexterity, and then plus your celerity.
Yeah. Okay. I think 13.
And they got 3 successes. I'm trying to stake you.
Okay. I got 5 successes.
Okay, so you are the successor in this one. So you get you're able to dodge this no problem at all. You like even catch the stake in your hand before it reaches you. And then the other one is going to go ahead and try to shoot at Nomi. So Nomi, you get to decide how you want to respond. Whether you throw corrosive vitae on them, you want to dodge, or anything else.
Is anyone firing directly at me right now?
Yes, one person is. Yeah.
Okay, well then I definitely want to dodge that. Can I hit them back if I
Yeah,
dodge, or
so
am I
if
only-
you
okay.
you could either choose to dodge, which is dexterity athletics, which is not in your favor, or you can go with corrosive vitae, which we'll say is maybe dexterity blood sorcery, to throw your blood on them, which that I think
Okay.
is more in your favor. Yeah,
Yeah, that's 2 and 2, so I get cool. I can roll 4.
and they got 1 success.
All right. Ah! Oh, where'd that go? I'm just gonna roll a 4th one. That's 2 successes so far, and then let me roll this last one. And that's a 9, so 3.
Okay, good. So with 3 successes, and they had 1 success, you're
Okay.
gonna deal enough damage to the point where they try to aim at you and fire, and your corrosive vitae like gets into their face as they immediately like fire aimlessly into the air and then drop their gun to like try to handle their face and wipe off the blood, but it's just smearing everywhere and making it worse. So, and now it goes to Izu. Yeah,
The one that Raylan told to kneel, they're still alive, right?
correct. They're the last combatant. Yeah.
Okay. Izu gets off his bike, just very casually, very slowly, I think, and steps over to this kneeling operative. and looks up at Raylan, and there's not even like a fake smile on his face. He's just dead cold, dead behind the eyes, everything. And I have the stake that I caught previously.
Yes.
I'm gonna ram it into the sides of their neck, as I look Raylan in the eye. Before I say my badass line, let me see if this actually succeeds first.
Strength and dexterity, and then melee. So this
Okay.
is it a knife, so you can't add your
Yeah.
specialty though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think regardless, you should say your cool line, and then that way.
As regardless. That is. Probably she keeps blocking it. 4 successes.
Okay, and they have a small dice pool because they have no more weapon. They have 1 success, so you have complete control over life and death over this creature.
I'm looking. I look Raylan in the eye, and I just say to them, "I am not your pet," and I ram it in the side of this operative's neck.
Quentin Tarantino blood
I'm throwing
spray
this
as
out.
it just like sprays over everywhere.
Yeah. Raylan meets your stare, unblinking, completely composed as they are kind of straightening up from where they were trying to run. They say, "I'm going to take the car." And then walks away towards Nomi's car.
You're already in there. AC's blaring and like. waiting. So
You notice from this point, you feel like a tug on your arm that has the stake, and you see that Brother Carlos grabs the guy that you just staked in the neck and uses that as like his sippy cup and just drinks from it as the hunger is too much.
you go to 1 hunger. Yeah, as you just
Okay.
Yeah, and then you just drain him. And the other thing that's very peculiar here is that you see that Sierra, the woman you met on the dance floor, the child of the Baron, is actually staked and leaning against the wall. Staked kindred is in torpor, where they can see, they can hear and everything like that. They just can't like move until the stake is removed from them. So you can choose to take the body, kill her, or take out the stake and let her fend for herself. Whatever you want to do, it will have repercussions. Your decision. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Izzy wanting to help them, so they're gonna pull out the stake.
Sure. So you put a foot on her shoulder and then just pull out the stake as.
Sorry about this.
And
I
sure
don't
enough,
usually pull out.
oh god. You see that unlife begins to fill her eyes again as she gets a gasp and then freaks out as she looks up to all of you guys and goes like, "Holy shit, thank you. Like I thought I was gone for," as she kind of like limps a little bit heading over to just follow you guys as
I'll just say I have an open seat on my bike. Just hold on tight.
She does so as she goes in. So with this, you make it to the parking garage and find little to no resistance there, as other kindred have made a clearing essentially for you guys as they were going to escape as well. You get to the limo and all pile in, except for Izu and Sierra, and you ride off into this time. Now, it's in the nick of time because the sun is actually rising in a few moments, but you drive hard and you drive fast to whoever's haven is the closest to be able to allow you guys to take shelter before the sun destroys you and breaches the masquerade even more than happened this evening. And you have survived the Elysium in this night. Good job, guys. It was amazing.
Yay!
Perfect.
We did it.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go around the room and have you guys all tell us where we can find you and what you're up to next. We're going to go ahead and start off with Faves.
Hey, I'm Fabs. You can find me at Rockets and Pens. It's either or. Yeah, I'm a comic book artist. I'm also a producer, GM, and performer over at Going Critical. Check us out there as well. I am currently playing a Thin Blood in Itaewon by Night. Thin Blood Jet. Check us out on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Going Critical, Going Crit RPG. Right now, this Tuesday we're actually on break, so find us the week after, and hopefully I'll see some of y'all in PAX Unplugged next week.
I wish. Oh my god. And then going to Stella.
Hello, I'm Stella Luna on Twitch, Stella Luna TV on all other social media except for Hive. I'm Stella Luna on Hive. I'm a TTRPG performer and producer. I run and play in all sorts of games. You can find all of that on my Twitter. And the only thing that I really have to shout out is next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time over on my channel, we're going to be running a one-shot of the new Dragonlance book. I should have had it here. Yeah, I was really lucky that Wizards sent me the deluxe edition of it, so we have early access to it, and we'll be streaming it. And Drac will be a player in that.
Yay!
Oh,
A little bit less of a menace in that game.
And I just want to say thank you so much, D'Angelo, for running this. My very, very first Vampire the Masquerade game, and I lived. Bitch, I lived.
you guys did amazing. Oh my gosh. So good. And then Katrina.
Hi, everybody. I'm Katrina, also known as O Katrina. That's OHCATRINA on all social media platforms. I am a writer, producer, host, voiceover artist, and TTRPG performer. And soon I will also be a stunt performer this coming weekend at Los Angeles Comic Con at 1:30 p.m. on December 4th. I will debut as the Cyborg in the League of Swords. I'm really excited about that. I host a number of podcasts, including Pedro Pascal, the podcast about Pedro Pascal, the What's Glup podcast, which is all about Star Wars characters. And I also just released a really cool new fanfic called Ventress Golden, which is at sweditor.ig.com/Ventress Golden. Thank you all so much for having me. This is so fun.
Perfect. And then Drek.
Yeah, hi, I'm Draco Draconics. I played Izu Okoro today. You can find me on Twitch. I guess you can find me on Twitch. I don't really stream on my own channel on Twitch, but you can follow me if you want. You can follow me on Twitter, Hive, Tumblr, all of the places. I'm probably going to be there, or I'm already there as Draconics. It's DRAKONIQES. What do I have going on? I mean, every other Monday over on Exquisite Courts Presents, I play in a D&D campaign called Divine Intervention, where we all play gods. I play Kronos, the god of time. On Saturdays at 3 p.m. Eastern over on Vanish Channel, that's VANA, you can see me playing Baru in a campaign called Higher Education, which is a Strixhaven campaign. We're all graduates in Strixhaven, also studying for their thesis, but also trying to ascend to godhood, or some of us are anyway. Next week, like Stella said, I'm going to call Stella Raylan. Next week, like Stella said, I'm going to be over on Stella Luna's channel in a Dragonlance one-shot, which I'm very excited about. Me and C, one of the players, stayed up late talking about our characters, and we just were like, our characters are in love, right? Yeah, they're in love. So we just decided that. What else? Keep an eye on my Twitter and Hive, because I got some really cool things coming up, specifically on December the 6th. So just keep an eye out for that. I'm also the co-founder and event organizer of French Roll Dice. We've got a bunch of stuff going on there. French Roll Dice is a TTRPG Twitch channel, so follow that to see some of the stuff that I've been working on behind the scenes with new APs and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
That's amazing. You guys have been a wonderful cast. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to play Vampire the Masquerade with me. And thank you all for watching. I really, really appreciate you guys. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. And we'll see you later. We're going to go ahead and raid over to a homie of ours, the little Zelda, who's playing the Turnip Boy evades tax evasion or something like that. And yeah, hope you guys all have a wonderful night. And perfect. We are out.
Oh, thank you all so much. That was so much fun.
Yay!
Yeah,
That was
so
great.
good. Thank you, Drac, to staying up so late. Oh my gosh.